It's 2 p.m. Detroit, and you know what that means. Detroit media icon Ryan Ermanni, University of Michigan great Braylon Edwards, and of course, Maz are about to take over on Woodward Sports. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m., it's the best Detroit sports talk on Detroit's best sports network, Woodward Sports.
I am Braylon Edwards, University of Michigan Wolverine legend, and he is not Ryan Ermanni, media legend in the community, but he is a legend in his own self, and that is my man Anson Wells, legendary heckler for the NBA. My man. Anson, how you doing?
I'm fantastic. Sun is not shining, but I don't need it today.
And Maz, we'll bring you in on that. How do you as well? What's up with the weather? Like Punxsutawney Phil told me it's going to be all right. Yesterday it's 85 degrees. Today it's 61, and it's going to be raining.
It's still nice. It's going to get back into the 70s for Mom's Day weekend.
I got a track meet to go to today, man.
I know. I got to coach a doubleheader today.
It's going to get rained out.
No.
It's going to get rained out.
No, we already got rained out once. We got to play.
I'm messing with you.
We got to play.
Maz, you bring up Mother's Day. What's your Mother's Day weekend looking like for your ladies? A lot of special ladies in your life. Maz, talk about Mother's Day as it relates to yourself.
We're going to do a little brunch. I'll put a little something together for Mom and the girls and Grandma as well. And then we're hoping to go to see the Tigers on Mother's Day against the Astros.
What is your lady, Kathy, how you doing out there? What is Kathy like for Mother's Day? What is her ideal gift that you can give her for Mother's Day?
She loves to go and walk around. She want to go to the zoo. She would want to go anywhere with the family. As long as we're walking and doing something, that's what she wants to do. And then on Father's Day, I get to pick what I want to do, and that's nothing.
There you go.
Absolutely nothing.
Father's Day typically comes around a good time of year. It's a great day to do nothing. Anson, how about yourself? What are your Mother's Day plans, my man?
I'm going to see if I can get my mom back to 515 over in Royal Oak for their drag queen bingo.
Okay.
It's a barrel of laughs. It's some good food. It's a good time. We'll probably keep it local up in Washington Township where she's from, though, and just do some lunch.
Washington Township. What's Washington Township like?
That is, I live on 8 Mile Road now, but I grew up on 28 Mile Road. So that's basically where the suburbs stop and the farms start.
Got you. All right. Nothing like the little rural areas like that. Pete, get you in on this yourself, man. What does Mother's Day look like for you?
God bless moms in the sky. Right. So I have to live vicariously through. I was going to actually bring your mom maybe a small plant tomorw so you could take it home to her.
Man. Hey, man, we have you over. Let me know what you're doing on Sunday.
Be nice, man. I'm doing nothing just except honoring Mom in heaven.
You know what? I'm going to invite you over on Sunday then, Pete.
I appreciate
Silent Mike,
that.
Mother still with us? What are you guys doing? What is a nice Mother's Day look for Silent Mike and his lady?
We usually either go get her some flowers and cook for her or something like that.
All right. I like this, man. I like bonding with the women that are so near and dear to our hearts.
We got a chance to meet your mom. She was in studio with us a couple weeks ago. What are you guys doing?
Barbecuing. And I've been, Maz, they threw me on the grill and really didn't give me a chance. It wasn't a question like, hey, would you like to barbecue and be the man?
We'll be over.
You got those skills?
Your father and your brother-in-law can help you out. It was like, hey, so you're going to be on the grill. You started one, and you also have to provide
what's
all
for
the
lunch?
culture. You got to come out with some brats, some dogs, some spicy hot dogs, paws. Like that's how you come out, man. With some brats, some hamburgers. You keep it simple. Then you put the good stuff on around too. You get the smoked salmon, get you some ribs, get you some barbecue chicken. I'm gonna do it all right.
You thought graduations were behind you, but you're the man now. You graduated to grill master.
It's always something, right?
Yeah.
It is always something.
We're always growing.
Always growing. You know who's always growing? Let's get right into it, and that's the Knicks.
Ooh.
Let's get into it, Maz. I know you're excited. The day before yesterday was the anniversary of Willis Reed coming back onto the court, making the first 4 points, and when they won in 1973. Well, last night, Jalen Brunson does not play in the second quarter, got injured, plays the whole second half, 26 of his 29 points in the second half. Maz, I will let you gloat about your New York Knickerbockers, who seem to get it right no matter what.
Man, and they got another injury yesterday as well. I mean, they can't stay healthy. Listen, man, I know that they're playing at their peak.
Yeah.
They can't get probably any better than they're playing right now. And the Pacers are starting to whine big time. What'd they complain about? 78 fouls in 2 games. Rick Carlisle got tossed out last night in the fourth quarter after that 10-point lead disappeared. Second half, they're up 10.
Maz, and before I get the answer, you don't think that's warranted a little bit? 78
I'm sure it is.
potential missed calls.
I'm sure it is.
Tried to take the high road after game one, and here we are again in game two.
I'm sure it is. You know what? It's a smaller town team. Everyone's going to say, oh, they want the Knicks to win. I get it. It's just like playing against LeBron James. They're going to get the calls 90% of the time. So the Knicks are getting a little bit. Pacers will get game 3. Actually, Mike Breen does that game. He's the Knicks announcer. But Mike Breen will be on the mic for ABC on Friday and Sunday, which is going to be fun for Knicks fans. But I think the Pacers will bounce back. Knicks, I'm telling you, man, when Brunson went out in the first half, I'm like, all right, they're just going to give this game away. They were down 10. I didn't expect them to come back. Here he comes back, gets 24 of his 29 in the second half, and he missed 2 free throws as well. It should have been 31 points. But they look great right now, but they are very short benched.
And
big time.
It's the second time that we thought somebody was going to come back and get their get-back game. We thought the Denver Nuggets in Game 2 would avenge Game 1. That didn't happen, and the same thing didn't happen for the New York Knicks. For the Indiana Pacers last night. Anson, I come to you. Talk about the Villanova 3. Because, my God, Dante DiVincenzo was on fire last night. Josh Hart, 19 points, but 15 boards yet again to out-rebound the Indiana Pacers. And Jalen Brunson, Maz already talked about. Talk about Villanova and that connection.
I really want to talk about Hart because
beyond
what he does on the stat sheet, this guy is a pest. He's a full-time motor.
Very annoying.
He's very annoying, but he's always doing the little things that, they show up on tape but not on the stat sheet. So he's really an unsung guy. DiVincenzo has just absolutely ignited since they got rid of
Give me my money.
those guys. Grimes is gone. Quickly's gone. Barrett we were talking about. Now these guys really get their minutes. They get their consistency. And DiVincenzo is just an absolute sniper, but he's a high IQ player. I mean, being able to come up and play with the Warriors and being able to learn from those guys, it's really taken his game to the next level. But we talked about him a couple days ago. Brunson, nobody wants to give him his dues yet, Braylon. This is a guy guy that took Dallas nearly to the promised land and then now is doing something with the team that hasn't had any real success for 30 years. These 3 guys, we, again, talked about it 2 days ago. When you have that familiarity, it breeds confidence. And this is maybe the most confident team in the playoffs right now.
Maz, bringing it back to you, we talk about Willis Reed and in 1973 and what he
71 actually.
Excuse me, 71.
Yep.
In 71, what he was able to do, ignited the team. He had 4 points, but they won. Jalen Brunson didn't only have 2 baskets and 4 points.
Correct.
Scores 26 points in the second half. Maz, you've been watching the Knicks. You've been watching the blunder that has been the Knicks for a very long time. Where does Jalen Brunson rank in terms of what he makes you feel as a New York Knicks fan? Because there's got to be something special.
He's already passed, and I showed you guys his stat before the show. He's already passed in playoff points Carmelo Anthony. He's already ahead of Carmelo Anthony in 2 seasons. Not even a full 2 seasons. Season and a half.
Yeah.
He's already ahead of Carmelo. And Carmelo, I thought when he went to the Knicks, maybe they would rise up. It never happened. They just never put the people together for him, with him. But Brunson right now, he's working his way in, man, into the Patrick Ewing era of Knicks players. I'm not going to put him in the 1970 Knicks players yet.
Right, as he shouldn't be.
But I'll put him in that Patrick Ewing, John Starks, Anthony Mason, Patrick Ewing, all those guys. He's creeping up on those guys very quickly.
Yeah, as you should, because none of those guys won anything, so
Correct.
That's nothing really to compare. You just watch him, man. He's a student of the game. And we were talking, me and Joe, we were talking off camera, just talking about his father and what he instilled in him as a young player. His father's still on the coaching staff. It's still on the coaching staff. So you're talking about a guy that's watching mistakes, watching the film, breaking it down in real time with the guy that even got him to that point. People are going to have to take note.
Yeah.
I keep saying it doesn't have to look a certain way. Guys, he's not 6'8". He's not jumping out the gym. He's not shooting from half court, although I'm pretty sure he can teach himself to it at this particular point. But what he's doing is his game evolves and his game elevates when the moment is right. Whenever the moment is on the line, which seems to be all the time with the Knicks, he rises to the occasion, Anson.
Yeah. There's something to be said about being a coach's kid.
Yeah, it is.
We've always seen that play out. The thing about him is he's also the son of a former player. And I think that this is a fact that is really overlooked. And we're seeing huge waves, especially in the NFL. We're seeing
NBA
wave
too,
after
yeah.
wave of these second-generation kids that are coming in. These guys have been pros since they were 10, 12 years old.
They've been in that NBA locker room. They've
Yes,
been in
sir.
that NBA environment. As you were saying.
Yeah, and it's, not only are they in the environment, but they're also getting plugged into these drills and these systems that professional players are using. So not only are they able, ability-wise, but they also come in with a certain savvy and maturity that you just don't see out of guys be able to do that quickly once they get to the pros. Brunson has the game. You saw what he was able to do in AAU. We saw what he's able to do at Villanova. I just think everybody expected this guy to be a little too small to dominate, but dominating is what he's still doing.
Yeah, 100%. And here's another great example. One of the greatest shooters in NBA history, his name is Dale Curry.
Ooh.
You don't think that had some effect on a guy that Maz calls his favorite player of all time? 100%.
Right.
The opposite side of the Knicks, and you talk about it, is the Pacers. The Pacers seem to be falling apart at every turn. They scored 121, which is the most they've scored, but then guess what? They let the Knicks score 130. Doesn't matter that Anobi's not on the court. Doesn't matter that Mitchell Robinson is not on the court. They're finding ways to win. Maz, watch the Pacers. Do you think they're falling apart? And it's just, I keep asking these questions.
Yeah.
When you see 2-0, and you see the same thing in 2 games in a row, I don't know how much they have.
I don't think they're falling apart, Brian.
Okay. So you think Rick Carlisle, there's some truth into the plays?
Oh, yeah. I think they'll come out big time in game number 3 in Indy at the old, they used to play at Market Square Arena. Then it was Conseco Field Center. What is it called now? It's called some field house now. Anyway.
Joe Dumars.
It's a beautiful place. Beautiful place to play basketball. The Indy fans will show up. You're not going to hear as many Knick fans, man. But that Garden, how fun is it to play at Madison Square Garden? I mean, there's really something. There really is something about it, isn't there?
So I've watched 3 or 4 Knicks games, and I've seen a concert there, or concerts, if you will. But it's something about that atmosphere, man. Maz, remember I told you 2 years ago I went up there for the opener at the Madison Square Garden. It was a CBS.
That was the college.
Yep, the college. The CBS.
North Carolina was playing.
See, look at Maz with a great memory. It was North Carolina versus Ohio State,
Yep.
I do believe. Went to overtime. Bangkok won the game at the end. But it's just something. Like, it's an aura. I can't explain it, but it's when first time I ever stepped on Lambeau Field.
Yeah.
Like, I felt something. Like, the first time you as I won't say the big house, but you know it's big. First time you as an Indiana fan or a Notre Dame fan, you step on Notre Dame Field.
Heck yeah.
Like, it's just something about the Boston Garden back in the day.
Yeah.
The Forum.
That rat hole. Yep.
It's just something, you know, it represents championships. And on their championships, Spike Lee was out there doing his thing.
He always is. He doesn't miss a game, man.
He's been waiting 30 years for this team.
Him and Reggie Miller made a kumbaya yesterday. Did you see they were shaking hands?
Did
They each had a copy of the New York News and New York Post.
Choke.
It was pretty cool that they got together, and it was a fun day last night. Knicks are up 2-0, but I don't think the series is over by a long shot. Knicks are dropping like flies right now, and they're down 2 players already.
Yeah, I don't know.
And you got Jalen Brunson with a bad leg.
100%. The series isn't over. He's hobbled. They're losing players. You're right. But one thing that Ryan Ermanni said yesterday, shout out to Ryan, what's going on, big? Oh, shout out to Lukey. Luke Ermanni got a hit yesterday in the game.
Hey,
he got a hit.
There we go.
He got a hit.
Love
Ryan's
that.
been waiting for this all year. He finally
He's
got
off
the
the
hit.
schneid.
He's off the schneid now, man. So shout out to Luke. But something that his father said yesterday, he said, look, we're talking about the refs. We're talking about, is it too many calls? Are they letting them play, but is that bothering the game? I said, look, I love the game. I love that they're taking it back to the mid-'90s, early 2000s, where you could play a little bit. Ryan says he doesn't like it because there's no precedent. He said now the refs have too much power. Now the refs can make a call when they want to and tuck the whistle when they want to. I got to say after game 2, I agree.
Yeah.
I'm watching the game and you're just like, I'm a football player. Like, I'm a football player and I'm out there talking about, ref, you got to call something. Like, ref, how many times my girl called it? She's a former basketball player at Eastern Illinois. At the rim. How many times you going to let these players meet them at the rim and not call anything? Anson, I'm not a crybaby. But I feel Rick Carlisle in the Indiana Pacers.
Well, listen, I'm one of the first guys to say, and we said it 2 days ago, I believe that the NBA wants to see the Knicks at least in the Eastern Conference Finals. Now, how do you go out there and do that as a referee? Do you just actually cheat? No. You can look at 2 different teams and their style of play, and you can determine a style of game that you call that's going to favor one or the other. A physical brand of basketball.
Right there.
You swallow the whistle and it's going to favor the Knicks. You go for a finesse, highly called game, it's going to favor the Pacers a little bit more.
They get in the bag, they get in the paint.
100%. Yeah. And we've seen that. We've seen them with the Pistons in Game 7 in the second half, and every single one of our big men has 4 or 5 fouls, and Tim Duncan's sitting there with 2. They understand a certain way to call the game to keep that momentum in favor of the team that they would prefer to come out on top.
That's the way it's always been.
No doubt.
I agree with that Tim Duncan one, but if they don't leave Robert Horry, we're not having this conversation.
100%. She did not have what we needed that day.
Son of a gun. Tom Mazaway, you keep it funky always. Like you're older school, you keep it funky. Are the refs doing what they're supposed to be doing?
Yeah. They're doing what they're supposed to do, and they're gonna even it up on the next game. Game 3 will be evened up. Indy will be to the line more than the Knicks. That you can bet right now. Go online right now, and you can bet the Pacers will have more free throws than the New York Knicks. Will they win? I don't know, but they'll have more free throws and more opportunities to score.
And that's why I asked Maz, because he would know. Before we get into the 2 games that are tonight, the 2 teams going after each other. Last night there was something else. It happened in the NBA. The 2023 season MVP was announced, and it was Nikola Jokic's third time MVP. The Joker has won it. Shockingly enough, yes,
he dominated.
He dominated. He dominated the votes. First place votes 79. Second place 18, if I'm reading it correctly. And in third place 2, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, an individual a lot of people feel was snubbed this year. They even believe that this is a makeup call. Because Nikola Jokic didn't win last year, they let Embiid win it because they don't want anybody to get 3 in a row unless his name is Larry Bird. I have no problem with that. I'm a Bird fan. I'm a Bird fan. I have no problem with that. Did SGA get robbed or snubbed last night? Anson, I come to you first.
You and I are on the same page when it comes to SGA. We love Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
I'm hearing something.
I have changed a little bit on this. I broke down their statistics here. Now, SGA with 36 assists, 5.5 boards, but a hella 2 steals a game and a block a game. Now you move down to Joker, just a few less points, 27.5. 26, but 12 and 9. Okay. Similar stocks number. He's got a steal and a half and a block a game. Both of them are very good defensive players, which really just pushes Luka right out of the conversation. Now,
agreed.
My issue is this. If you take Joker off of Denver, they are trash. They really are trash. Jamal Murray is a low shooting, free field goal shooting guard. He's a scorer. Aaron Gordon is a high flyer. These guys are not getting the easy baskets or putting up the numbers that they have if you don't have constant double teams on Jokic and a guy in Jokic that can find you anywhere on the court. When I look at the Thunder, this is one of the most exciting young teams in the league. Now,
keyword being young.
Super young, but they're a top 6 team in the West without him, or at least they're making it. This
is Chet's first full season. So
certainly.
How do we know?
And it's only Jalen Williams' second full season, but they have a whole cast of supporting guys. Giddey can hoop. There's a lot of guys on there.
Josh Giddey can hoop.
If you have Giddey running that point without SGA, they are still a playoff team. Denver, I just don't see that. Like, Denver is being exposed right now. And without Joker, that team's trash. They're pushing the Pistons for that number 1 pick.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go that far.
Well, I'll tell you, I get pretty close.
I think to make your point, you're trying to discredit how good SGA.
I'm not trying to discredit it at all.
Okay,
he's been fantastic. They're right neck and neck.
You said they can get to the playoffs. That means they could be a 10 seed.
Most
right
valuable
now, they're a 1
to their
seed.
team.
They're a 1 seed.
Not the best player, but the most valuable to their team. That's the award, right?
SGA.
I don't know. I think they're missing the playoffs without Joker. I think the Thunder can make it without SGA, especially with Giddey there.
I also want to get Joe. I almost want to ask Joe what's your thoughts on that.
We got a Spartan in the house here.
Here goes.
That's right. Go white, baby. My man Joel in the house.
Go home. Maz, I'm just at a crossroads because I believe that the Nuggets are good enough to get into the playoffs, even in that West that was much better than East this year. But with SGA, you take him off that team. You said yourself, they're a young team. This is J-Dub's second year. Chet Holmgren's not even finished with his first year. And he's I just don't. I think SGA got snubbed. I stay with that.
It should be a lot closer than that.
It should have been closer, I agree.
And that's where you get the makeup element. Because I think if it wasn't a makeup, I think if it was a legit, where people really set out, looked at the games, watched the tape, and saw who was the best of their team, it would have been closer in the standings. And then you was, all right, well, he got nipped in the butt. He got caught at the finish line.
I just think more people probably know Jokic than Shea. That's it. That's just the way it goes. More people know the Joker, 2-time winner going into last night.
Should have been 3.
Well, the champion held the belt.
Denver doesn't have one good player on their entire bench. You're going to tell me that if you put in an average starting center with Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter, Jamal Murray, and KCP, that they're a contending playoff team? They're contending for the 9 seed.
Hey, hold on. The NBA is the one that told me Jamal Murray is this superstar point guard.
He's not.
That he was out of this world.
He's not.
That the bubble wasn't a fluke. They don't want to tell me that. They told me Aaron Gordon was the guy that needed a team to reinvent who he really was. Really was a stud. Really was a good player. Michael Porter was hurt when he got drafted. That's why he wasn't what he was coming out of Mizzou. That's what they told me.
Yeah.
They told me that
and
these guys had a
needed
ride.
a guy like Joker to get them in the right places and get
Where's
them
the guy
the ball
from
in
Kansas
those places.
at? He's supposed to be great. The guy from Kansas, Clark, right?
I'm sorry. I look
exactly,
at this.
and that's
this
what I said
Thunder
about that Denver team
deep.
last year.
This Thunder team is deep, my friend.
Yeah.
They are. And just the fact that they have Josh Giddey, a super capable triple-double waiting to happen when he's a starter, I think that's a 5-6 seed without him, without SGA. Yeah. And I don't see Jokic's Denver Nuggets making the playoffs without him.
I don't know. I just don't think they wanted to give it to two brothers 2 years in a row. I just want to switch it up. I'm just joking. Tom Maz,
we got Jokic on winning his third
let's talk
MVP.
About that.
Here he is.
You know, it's I don't know what to say. It's it's a journey. It's a process. It's a trusting in your teammates trusting in you. It's just a whole collective effort that put me in front of the bright spotlight, and I'm kind of the guy. But there is a lot of people, players, coaches, strength coaches, development coaches, medical staff behind me, family, of course, and that you guys don't see it, and I'm just one of them.
Maz, what do you say after 3 MVPs?
Yeah, especially a guy like him who really
doesn't want the award.
This is just work for him.
100%.
He does his job. He punches the clock, and he wants to go home.
As soon as the season's over, he's back in Slovenia.
He wants out. He's glad probably they're not going to have a parade this year. He's probably, all right, good. I can go home earlier this year. Because the NBA Finals ain't till mid-June, right?
Correct.
True.
So he's fine, man, but he's a classy guy.
Yeah.
And Shaq took a poke at him last night live on TV. And Shaq told him, hey, man, I love you, but you shouldn't have won.
Now, hold on, man. Let me ask you this question. Is that a poke, or is that someone that, A, is a Hall of Famer, B, is an analyst, 3, has a relationship with Joker, and 4 is just trying to do what we used to could do in the real world before somebody, everything you say, people judge and say you can't say that.
I love it.
Like, he's just, that's his opinion.
I know. I love Shaq.
You say he took a poke, though.
Well, it is. It's kind of a poke.
Not really.
I mean, he's a former MVP himself. He can speak from experience.
Yeah.
And Joker took it like a man. He's like, that's okay.
Did.
I understand, Shaq. It's not a problem, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, he did.
We don't judge here, he says. Yeah. And he says, I'm only joking.
That's fun, though. Like, I hope the NBA gets back to that semblance, man. Like, where the older guys can talk to the younger guys, and there's that relationship.
Well, no, that's why the NBA today, the TNT show, inside
it's
the
very
NBA.
Necessary.
NBA is the best show on television. It's the best show in sports.
Agreed.
That's for sure. And you know what, guys? It might be finished because NBC, as of today, has upped their offer now to the NBA. They're trying to steal that package. They've offered, what was it, $25.5 billion to take the what is it, $2.5 billion?
$2.5 billion.
$2.5 billion to take the third package away. That means TNT and their parent company, Paramount, would have to up it to $25.8 billion if they want to keep it. And the only guy that probably will survive that show would be Charles Barkley because he's the only one with an out clause. Ernie Johnson said he's not leaving. TNT's his home. Turner Sports is his home. Does baseball there, does other stuff as well. And I'd be really sad if the NBA left TNT. Back in the day on NBC, it was pretty good. I don't want to see. You want to see games on Peacock again?
No, absolutely
Do you?
not.
Because that's what you're going to get, man.
To be honest, it's interesting that all this is happening at the same time. It just seems like it's an era coming to an end in the NBA as a whole. You're talking about the end of the TNT show. You're talking about the end of LeBron James in a year or two, the end of Steph Curry in a year or two, the end of Kevin Durant in a year or two. It's just an end of an era. You saw that stat that we posted. Pete threw it up there maybe 2 weeks ago. This is the first time in 20 years that there's no Steph, there's no LeBron, and there's no KD in the playoffs. And I know everybody's like, good, you got the new era and Anthony Edwards and all that. Sometimes you don't know what you have until it's gone, Anson.
I still miss the era before all those guys.
I know you did. Kobe.
Man. And he was the end of the real era. You know?
True.
So, no, it's...
Everyone has their own era, right?
Yeah.
Everyone has their era.
Yep.
I mean, my era was the 70s and 80s.
Basically, whatever pants you still wear as a 70-year-old man, that's the era you're stuck in.
Yeah.
Music, sports,
you're not lying.
all that.
It's always your go-to. Like when you can't figure out music in the car, you're like, man.
Did you just talk about disco when you came in here?
Well, that's different though. That's like I was in the disco mood.
But you're right though. I mean, the people that loved it in the 70s, nobody's singing anymore.
That was rhythm and blues, brother. That was the Shy Lights.
I heard you said disco. 70s music.
Have you seen her?
Have you?
That's my I see her face as the cold winds blow.
Tony Soprano's favorite song too. He loved that.
It is.
He had a panic attack while he was driving his big old Yukon.
That's right.
At that time.
Yeah, the panic attack is he was talking about the shines, as they
That's
call
right.
it. 2 games tonight. The Celtics and the Cavs, the Mavs and the Thunder. What's the best game, and what's the team under the most pressure?
I'm gonna look at the spreads here.
I go to you first, Dan.
I mean,
who's under the most pressure? Celtics? Not the Celtics. The Mavs or the Cavs?
That's a good question. I think the Mavs, because, I mean, you got Kyrie, who's already got a ring. You got Luka, who's supposedly the best player in the league. And they've kind of fallen short the last couple of seasons. In terms of the Cavs, this is a new young team that's exciting.
Nobody cares about the Cavs.
I think everybody's just happy that they're there trying to get some experience. The Mavs is a big game. You know, this is a young team that a lot of people saw falling to a more experienced Mavs team, even though they're the number 1 seed in the Thunder. But if they can go up 2-0 before they go back to Dallas, that youthful enthusiasm might just win out.
Mavs, who needs to have a better game for Dallas? Is it Luka or is it Kyrie Irving?
Well, your guy.
Kyrie?
Your guy for sure.
Kyrie.
You know, and 13.5, by the way, the Celtics are favored by. The other game, they were favored by 12.5.
It went up a point.
And I said the Cavaliers were the pick. I'll take the Celtics tonight, laying the 13.5.
You're going to take
I've seen enough.
13?
I've
seen enough.
30.
Wow.
Yep, I've seen enough. And the other game is a 4.5 point spread. OKC favored over Kyrie, Luka, and the Mavericks.
I think it has to be Kyrie. You know, we're talking about a consistent theme here. We mentioned the Jalen Brunson situation when they got to the Western Conference Final. We mentioned how they really got through the first round was through Kyrie. It just doesn't seem like Luka's a guy that is the leader in the playoffs. It doesn't seem like he's a guy that can get kickstarted. It seems like he needs a guy to be the guy, and then he can filter in throughout the course of the game. Am I missing something, Anson?
No, and even more, when you're giving up points after putting together a great play and scoring points, it messes with your head. It messes with your team's head. All the greats, LeBron, Mike, Kobe, they made plays on the other end of the court as well. And he just doesn't have that to his game. He's always looking for other guys on the team to start those breaks. I did like that falling down over the head pass off of a steal that he got, but he's not involved in enough plays like that. He absolutely, despite how polished his offensive game is and creative, he absolutely needs a catalyst. I compare it very much to LeBron. LeBron didn't have that mental makeup yet to win that ring in Cleveland. He needed Kyrie.
Yeah, real quick. I saw your order. You said LeBron, Mike, then Kobe. Is that your order?
That's not an order.
Okay, all right.
That is not an order.
Hey, I was just checking in.
LeBron just was spoken first. In fact, I think I went alphabetically.
You know what? I love it. You know what I love? Talking to Dave Burkett about the Detroit Lions. We got him on the phone. So let's take a quick break. Throw it over to my man, Pete. Oh, we're throwing it over to me with Lady James? Or Les Stanford? Let's do Les Stanford then, ladies and gentlemen. What happens when you run a great business for over 50 years? You expand and you offer more products to the people. This is exactly what Les Stanford did by adding Les Stanford, Buick, and GMC. The same great service that customers have come to know and trust on Woodward, just south of 9 Mile. Check out Les Stanford and Dearborn today at letstanford.com. Letstanford.com together. That's right.
That's right. Drive on over to Premier Pet Supply. They're Premier. They are the number one, Michigan's number one pet store. They have family owned and operated for over 30 years, 13 Metro Detroit locations, and of course, 60 brands of food at the lowest prices available. Give them a try today. It's PremierPetSupply.com.
Thank you to the Detroit Lions and Sheila Ham for the best season in Lions history. Now it's time to let Brad Holmes cook. Woodward Sports.
To any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Congratulations to the real Coach of the Year, Motor City Dan Campbell.
Just put your head down and go to work. It's about to be fun, man. It's about to be fun.
Woodward Sports.
Braylon Edwards here, Premier Pet Supply. Man, just looking around, who's got it better than pets? Come on, a baby stroller for Coda? A chef for Lola? Really? You don't have to tell me who the real boss here is. Who's got it better than pets? Nobody, especially here at Premier Pet Supply. For over 30 years and more than 13 locations, Premier Pet Supply has everything that your pet can dream of, and guess what? It's all under one roof. Premier Pet Supply, family owned, operated, and proud to call Metro Detroit home. Check out PremierPetSupply.com or scan the QR code today. Who's got it better than pets?
Nobody! The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Welcome back to Ermanni Edwards with Maz. Ryan Ermanni won't be with us, but Anson Well has filled in his shoes today. We are pleased to bring you Dave Burkett, Detroit Free Press beat writer for the Detroit Lions, and one of our favorite people. It's been a minute, Dave. How you doing, man?
Hi, Dave.
Dave, you got me over there? We seeing levels, fellas? Dave. All right, let's hang up. Try it again real quick.
You don't have to hang up. You probably got to push a button. Let's
just wait. We're talking about what we're going to talk about, Dave. Anyway, is Detroit Lions rookie camp starts tomorrow. Anson Wells, great draft again. We think by the Detroit Lions, very experimental draft in the middle. What are you excited to hear from Lions camp? What are you excited to talk about, Dave Burkett?
I want to see where Sioivaki's lining up. There's a guy I called for months, was going to be in Honolulu Blue, but they're talking about getting him involved in the offense quite a bit. So I'm really excited to see where he lines up on the offensive side of the ball, but I'm also excited to see where he lines up in the defensive side of the ball. He's kind of got a Brian Branch type of floater position and ability, skill set, should I say. The other thing I'm looking forward to seeing is where these top 2 cornerbacks step onto the field in Rakestraw and Terrion Arnold. These guys, we're looking at these being the bookends for a shutdown secondary in the next couple of years. So I want to see how they step onto that field day one.
Yeah, 100%. Ennis Rakestraw is definitely who I want to see. I want to hear all the noise about Rakestraw. You saw my prediction yesterday. I said that day one, first game of the season, Ennis Rakestraw would be the starting defensive back over Terrion Arnold.
Wow.
That's just where I'm at with it. Tom Mazaway, same thing. What or who are you excited to hear about? Is what or who? What or who are you excited to hear about coming out of camp?
I love the whole class, but Terry and Arnold,
Yeah.
I can't wait to meet this guy. First of all, I hadn't have a chance to meet and greet him yet with the rest of the media. He's going to be a guy that he's going to be the straw that stirs the drink back there. I got a feeling that this kid is the real deal. Ennis Rakestraw is another guy that I love. I thought those two picks were fantastic. You wanted to get cornerbacks. You wanted to move on from last year. What happened with them? That was the weak part of the team. And I really believe that this is going to help the guys up front, man. You got the guys up front trying to rush that passer, and it's got to help them. Don't you think it helps Hutchinson and Pascal and the rest of the guys, DJ Reader in the middle?
Yeah, 100%. You add DJ Reader in the middle. You add Davenport, who should be healthy this year. It just it frees up Aiden Hutchinson. He's taking on less and less double teams. We saw him last time a couple times take on some triple teams because they didn't trust the defensive line. Now you add DJ Reader to Lee McNeil as well. Don't forget about Lee McNeil. What can Justin Houston do is another really good question. So excited about that. But that Makai pick right there, he's a guy that tested in the 3rd round grade. 4th round grade was the max that they had for him.
Yeah.
He slips down to the 6th. But Brad Holmes, once again, able to grab him up. So excited about that, too.
And the offensive line guys that they get, the kid from Boston College and the kid from British Columbia. I'm looking forward to seeing what he looks like and look up to him. He could probably play for the Pistons coming up here in September.
No doubt. Averaged 20 and 13 as a college player. But
Not too shabby.
Mahogany and Manu, very excited about those guys. They were deals. I got Makai Wingo on this list too. I can't wait to see what this guy does. He's super young. He's got a track record in college. You're talking about giving a guy in Aiden Hutchinson that I felt was a half second away 12 different times last season. You're giving him an extra second. Yeah. And now when you add that extra second into him, but also guys like James Houston and Reader and all the others that we've mentioned, this whole defense takes off.
Yeah, the whole defense does extremely take off. Speaking of rookies, not necessarily a rookie, but a guy from last season that was a rookie, Antoine Green. I want to bring up something that was said. Brad Holmes talked to another show earlier today. Can't play the footage. But one of the things he said, they asked him about the wide receiver room, Maz and Anson. They asked him, did he do enough? They asked him, do they feel confident in this wide receiver group? You know, you're talking about Jamison Williams probably being the 2. Now with the departure of Josh Reynolds, obviously Amon-Ra just got paid. We know who he is. He's number 1. And then Donovan Peoples-Jones at number 3. He made some good points, Anson. And I want to ask you where you are with this. He talked about Donovan being a tremendous force for the Cleveland Browns. You know, remember he had the 1 year, I want to say 8 touchdowns, 800-plus yards. He was a guy that they could trust and the guy also that ran back punts. You kind of forget that. You get him here towards the end of the season, really doesn't know the offense, really can't put him in there, and they're playing meaningful games. You really don't want to play with fire. So people dismissed Donovan Peoples-Jones, if you will, because it's easy to dismiss a guy that's not on the field for a team that has so many offensive weapons. But did we dismiss him? And also, why don't we ever remember that Khalif Raymond is also a very, very serviceable number 3, number 4 wide receiver? Do you think that the wide receiver core is legit, like Brad Holmes seems to think?
The Leaf. You know, this is similar to the same question and concern that Lions fans had last season about their secondary. Obviously, the secondary was the Achilles heel of the team, but he knew that he had a guy in Ife Melifonwu that no one thought was going to contribute to this team. You started all of this off with Antoine Green. That's a guy that really showed flashes last year. And then when you look at DPJ, this is a guy that has proved it at the NFL level that he can be at least a top number 2 in this league. So I think it's one of those things where these guys just have supreme confidence in the players that they've chosen, that they've had in their clubhouse for a couple of years now, and they have a track record where they've been able to develop their guys. So as much as I was calling for a Tyler Boyd and some Gallups and guys like that, now we're watching them fall off the board. I am starting to feel real good about this crew, because last year without DPJ being really a part of things and Green being, well, too green to really contribute, now this team, you've got some levels of depth to them, and you've got a Jamison Williams that showed the ability to be that guy for them this year. So I kind of like them not taking the chance and swinging with a bunch of money to go bring in an unknown entity, or maybe a known player but an unknown culture guy. And so they're sticking to their guns, they're sticking to their people, and they're sticking to that culture that's worked.
Hey, Tyler Boyd was signed. Remember we brought that up yesterday. Yeah. He got to Tennessee. Today, Allen Robinson got signed by the Giants. They're just, these guys aren't top-of-the-line guys, and they probably want more money than the Lions are willing to give them. But these guys have fallen off the board here. And I'm not sure who's going to be left come August when the last of the free agents are remaining, because you're going in a little light, if you ask me, on the wide receiver side.
You know what's funny is I was going to agree with you, Maz. I still think it's a light receiver room. I still think it's a light group as a former wide receiver. But then you start to think back of Brad Holmes and the Lions, since they've been together, since they've been cooking. You look at what he did last year in the secondary, and everybody said, the secondary was this, the secondary was that. Well, Elijah Mosley didn't play last year because he tore his ACL. Then you look at, Brian Branch missed how many games? GJ got hurt, game 2?
Yep.
These are the players that he chose to put in that secondary. That secondary is much better last year if these players aren't injured. You look at the defensive line, similar thing. We're good with our defensive line. Then you get injury after injury. But when you play Isaiah Buggs, team did better last year. Freed up Lee McNeil, freed up Aiden Hutchinson. So when he says, this wide receiver core, we believe in them, maybe then I got to believe in them too. Because I look at Antoine Green. Antoine Green played with Drake May and Sam Howell.
Yeah.
Like fast, big wide receivers. So this is a guy that I think we're forgetting about him, what he was able to do. You look at the undrafted free agent from Illinois, 164 catches in the last 2 seasons.
Why was he undrafted?
You just never know in situations. Why was Justin Houston undrafted? I mean, obviously Illinois is a much bigger school than Jackson State, but you just never know in these situations. And then Khalif Raymond, we've seen him make play time and time again, whether it's in the quick screen or whether it's even actually running routes down the field.
We missed him at the end of the season last year.
Oh, yeah. Got hurt in the Minnesota game.
Do we still not know what happened? Do we still not know what the injury was?
No, I think he did something with one of his CLs in his knee. Hopefully he's going to bounce back and be healthy, because he'd be great on kickoff and punt returns as well. Don't forget the new kickoff rule.
Kickoff rule.
The new kickoff rule. Who are you going to put back there? Will it be Jamison Williams?
Or will it be Sione Vaki?
I got 3 names that are remaining wide receiver free agent-wise. I want to hear you guys' opinion on.
Okay.
Hunter Renfrow, McCole Hardman, and Big Mike Thomas.
The second 2 you said, 2 and 3, you could throw them off a cliff.
Yeah.
You could throw them off a cliff. McCole Hardman, he only works in Kansas City, and he only worked in Kansas City 5 years ago.
So, but what
I got a touchdown in the Super Bowl.
What I like
on accident.
What I like about him is the ability to use him around the line of scrimmage and screen packages, things like that.
You can do
and just his speed.
He was at FAS years ago. True. Like, he's had some injuries. And then Mike Thomas, first of all, I never liked Mike Thomas at Ohio State. It has nothing to do with him being an Ohio State Buckeye, because I love Garrett Wilson.
They didn't really even throw it to him while he was there.
Understood that.
He was the best wide receiver in the NFL for 4 years until this most recent injury.
No, he was a receiver that got the ball thrown to him the most. He wasn't the best
by
wide
a
receiver.
Hall of Famer quarterback, I'll give you that.
Yeah, and it's not even about a Hall of Fame quarterback. You throw somebody the ball 260 times, like, anybody can look pretty good. Brandon Marshall used to look like the best wide receiver in the league, and he was pretty good. But Mike Thomas, I didn't like him when he was in his prime. I thought he was a 2-trick pony, slant route, fade route. Now you're talking about a guy that's been injured 4 of the last 5 seasons. Yep. But you see, I didn't say anything about that first name.
Hunter Renfrow.
Hunter Renfrow is a guy, man. Like, some guys just know how to play at this level. Some guys are just good at what they do. Hunter Renfrow showed you at Clemson what he could do. Then you said that it was, it's college football. You can hide him. He did the same thing when he was with the Raiders. He showed you how good he was as a wide receiver. He reminds me of the prototypical Tom Brady type wide receiver. Amendola, Julian Edelman, Wes Welker at one point. But also, I think he's a little more dynamic.
Yeah, he's a poor man's Amon-Ra St. Brown. And as much as everybody wanted that kind of DJ Chark field stretching number 2, with the slim pickings that are left, Hunter Renfrow is a guy that's going to get on this team and get open. And if we were to lose St. Brown for a 3-game stretch, I think he could do a mighty fine job of stepping in there and mimicking what he does for us.
Even Scotty Miller got signed yesterday.
Scotty Miller? Let me ask a question. Would you want to pay, and let me ask you this, Max, I know what the answer is going to be, and I'll come back to you. Would you want to pay Hunter Renfrow to essentially be what we think Khalif Raymond could be?
How much is it going to cost me?
If he's still in the market right now and he really didn't get that second deal in Las Vegas, nah.
2.5, 3?
3.5.
Oh, I'd sign him.
4.
I'd sign him in a minute for that.
Yeah, I would.
Because who just got 4.5? Tyler Boyd.
Yeah,
Tyler Boyd just got 4.5. So Hunter Renfrow.
Yeah. You need bodies, man.
Yeah.
You
we found ourselves in that position last season when a few of our wide receivers got hurt. DPJ wasn't the guy. Leaf went down, and it caused some problems. Fortunately, we got most of that back for the playoffs. But as confident as they are in the crew and the specific skills, because like each receiver we have in Detroit is kind of a niche to receiver.
Very true.
When we have injuries, I don't like our depth. So, yeah, add him.
The only reason why I don't want to add him is because when we were talking wide receivers, Maz, tell me I'm wrong, when we were thinking about potential wide receivers, we were thinking about explosive guys.
Mm-hmm.
We were thinking of guys that can get down the field, or we were thinking about guys that were good at the 50-50 ball. Hunter Renfro's neither one of that. He's neither one of those things. He's not a tall 50-50 receiver, and he's not a guy that's blazing fast. He's a guy that's going to work underneath, work in the middle of the field a little bit, work some screens. That for me, it just doesn't do it.
Martavis Bryant was explosive.
He also was some other things. He definitely was some other things, and that's why it didn't work with him. Schedule predictions. We did that yesterday, didn't we, Maz?
We did. That was Ryan came up with.
He did on the spot.
His mock schedule, and guess what? A day later, NFL Network's Peter Schrager did the same thing.
Maz, you have a theory.
I do.
What's your theory?
My theory is Peter Schrager likes our stuff. The NFL Network likes our stuff, and he saw what Ryan Ermanni did, so he did his own. So let's pop it up and let's see. This is what he thinks opening weekend will be. Bray, run him down for opening weekend.
Here we go. Peter Schrager's mock schedule, week 1. Kickoff will be none other than the Ravens and the Chiefs, the rematch of last year's AFC Championship.
So he thinks that's the Thursday night game.
Thursday night kickoff. There we go. And then
we think it's the Chargers.
We think it's the Chargers and Ravens. Chargers and Ravens.
No, Chiefs are the Super Bowl team.
Oh, that's right.
Chiefs always open it. I mean, the Super Bowl team always hosts.
What was the game that Ryan was saying that it was going to be the Harbaugh Bowl?
That's at the end.
Okay, my apologies then.
Okay.
All right, here we go. On to, this was Sunday. This is Sunday?
Yeah, this is all Sunday.
This will be Sunday, Fox. All right, these are the Sunday games. You got Dolphins, Jets.
That's on CBS. And then on Fox,
Lions,
the big game.
Cowboys.
And you see who the players, you see who the guys are announcing that game? Kevin Burkhardt and Tom Brady.
Love it.
He thinks it's Lions, Cowboys in week 1.
You know what's so funny? Remember 2 years ago, we were trying to see if we could get Tom Brady?
Oh, yeah.
My, how times changed.
Yep.
Got the roast master himself, Tom Brady, on Fox. Then you have the night crew. Mike Tirico, Bears, 49ers. Who's Mike Tirico's counterpart?
Chris Collinsworth.
Ah, boo.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
Bears, 49ers to open it up?
I don't know about that. I don't think the Bears make it on opening weekend.
I'm with you.
I think he's reaching on that one.
I got to be honest. If Chicago is going to get the benefit of the doubt all year long because they drafted Caleb without having done anything for a decade, I'm gonna puke all over the place. I don't want to see them on primetime all the time.
We'll know on next Wednesday when the schedule comes out.
Well, be prepared.
15th,
put that up there one more time, Pete. My apologies. And the last game will be the Giants and Steelers. Man, just looking at this.
I don't like that either.
I was just about to say, looking at this, what of these games don't belong?
Bears and 49ers don't belong.
Take it off.
Dolphins, Jets don't belong.
Take it off.
On a primetime game.
Giants, Steelers.
Don't belong.
Don't belong.
So I don't like.
For sure don't belong.
I don't like his schedule.
No, I don't like his schedule prediction.
Is he I'm thinking he's from New York.
He lives in New York.
Yeah, I think he does.
He's getting his squads in there.
But the show shifts over to L.A. now. So let's go to the primetime games now. Here we go. With the primetime games, he predicts.
Love that.
Yeah, I agree.
He thinks the Lions, the Chiefs, and the 49ers will have the most primetime games, and the Panthers and the Cardinals will have the least.
I disagree with the Cardinals. Last year, the Cardinals, when they were healthy, they were a team that fought hard. You saw what they did to Dallas.
Yep.
And that's Gannon. Gannon's now the head coach, came over for the Eagles after they lost the Super Bowl. And then you just drafted who?
Marvin Harrison Jr.
To go with who? Kyler Murray.
I'm a huge Trey Benson guy. I think this is the best running back in the draft. I thought their whole draft was great. Like
I think so too.
Last season, they were a tough out when they were healthy.
Yeah.
People are saying Kyler's done way too early at this point. I like that team. They're going to be a fun watch. I wouldn't be surprised to see them get some, what do they call that?
Upset wins?
No, at the end of the year.
Games?
Would they bump them to, what do they call that?
Flex.
The
flex games.
They're going to get flex this year.
No, you're out of your mind. Now let's put up the holiday games now that Peter Schrager is picking.
Ooh,
look what he picked on Thanksgiving.
Well, there was another individual yesterday around this same time that picked the Chicago Bears and the Detroit Lions to play on Thanksgiving. It was Tom Mazaway.
You can lock that up.
He definitely picked 100%.
That's the lock game right there.
Ravens, Cowboys, San Francisco, LA. Now, San Francisco, LA is going to be the best game of the day. I love that because we talked about this too. I agree. Matt
But I'm
Stafford.
fatigued at the night game
And on
on Thanksgiving. I don't care about it.
You know what you got to do, Mass? You got to watch the first game and eat. Then you nap after the second game or before the second game is over.
right.
And then you wake back up and you're ready for the third.
But I like
game.
the second game always. I like watching the Cowboys. And the Ravens, that would be a hell of a match, man.
First of all, the Ravens are going to blow the Cowboys out if this is the schedule. I told you this is the year that the Cowboys don't
crumble.
make the playoffs.
They crumble.
They still play well on Thanksgiving, though.
This is true.
That's,
Who they
you know,
throwing
They
to?
still have
Jalen
stars.
Tolbert?
Pardon?
Who are they throwing to after CD? Jalen Tolbert?
Right now, they don't have money.
While they run it with Zeke?
Hey, watch out.
Yikes.
Zeke was a stud 5 years ago.
Yeah, and 2 years ago, he got lapped by Tony Pollard, who couldn't even carry the rock full time last year on his own.
Well, he's also a secondary running back.
Very much so.
I don't understand how he got paid starter money. And that's why they were hesitant to really give him a deal, and he had to go to Tennessee this year.
You see the Christmas games that were put up? Put up those Christmas games.
Ooh,
Cleveland and
Christmas game.
Cincinnati, the Battle of Ohio.
Boo.
And the other game, San Francisco at the Packers on Christmas Day. That one, I'd love to see that one.
San Francisco is like they're dominating in the primetime games. But going to the first one, Cincinnati and Cleveland.
Do you boo everything Browns?
It's Christmas anyway. Who
Do
cares?
you boo
who
everything
plays?
Browns?
I do.
Attaboy.
I do,
I love
100%.
it.
The only reason
do
why
I.
it's kind of cool is Charlie Brown Christmas, Cleveland Browns, Charlie Brown. There you go, Cleveland Browns.
If Charlie Brown's the only thing making you cool, you're in trouble.
But here's a good thing, Mass. Do you believe in Deshaun Watson potentially coming back this year? That's
Yes.
the question.
Yes. I like Cleveland.
Okay.
I told you I love that division this year.
You
I
have
think
been on Cleveland for a little too long, my friend.
I'm telling you, you watch out for the Browns this year.
Yeah.
They're going to make
They are
some
a
noise
sleeper
this year.
for sure.
For sure, they're going to make noise this year. They got a lot of talent on that team, and they got the coach of the year in Kevin Stefanski.
As long as they
But do
have
they have the
Myles
right
Garrett on
quarterback?
defense.
We'll see, right? We'll see.
You know, we just got to massage
How bad
him into
could
the
he be?
offense.
You don't like the old man over there?
What old
Joe
man?
Flacco?
He's gone.
He's gone.
I know. I thought that team was better under him.
Who has Flacco now? I
Watson?
forgot.
All right, he got paid.
Yeah, he did get
$8
paid.
million to be a backup.
I forgot where he went.
He'll be starting at some
Somebody-
point this year.
Somebody pay him $8. I want to say he's $8 million what he's making this year. Somebody look it up and tell us in the chat. We'd appreciate that.
Colts. Thank you, Pete.
Very smart decision. Good job, Pete. I see you out here. Speaking of see you out here, Maz, you've been watching the NHL playoffs.
You know it.
I know you've been dialed into those as
Big
well.
time.
Panthers, they even the series, and they're not going away easy.
That was an exciting 6-1 game. Let me tell you. That 6-1 game was a lot closer than that. And the fights at the end of this game were beautiful. You thought you were in the 1970s. That's how many fights.
First of all,
there
how many?
were.
You said fights. How
Yeah.
many fights were there?
Oh, probably 10 fights.
Wow.
Jesus.
Yeah. It was fantastic. A fun game, especially at the end there. So now the Panthers even that series up at 1-1. And then the Canucks and the Oilers, the nightcap. Oilers were up 3 goals. They lost.
Oh no.
5-4 to Vancouver. So the Canucks go up 1-0.
Jeez.
The Oilers have done it again.
Ken Holland and
Ken Holland, the
and
manager of
Connor
the
McDavid,
Oilers.
the best player in hockey.
They can't get out of their own way.
You know what they are? They are the I guess I can't say that because the Toronto Maple Leafs, who we'll talk about too, they got out of the first round finally. But I was going to say they're the Toronto Maple Leafs of the second and third round. They just cannot seem to put it together. Last year they made it to Western Conference Finals. Right? How do you blow that type of league? Pause.
Have you guys ever been to Edmonton?
No.
I feel like it would just be like a Canadian Flint.
Edmonton, Alberta. They're only 2 hours behind us. I always thought they were 3 hours behind us.
Never paid
But
them
they're
much
only
attention.
2 hours behind us.
Never.
You like that one, AP?
The Canadian Flint.
Speaking of hockey,
it just sounds like this gross industrial city. I'm sure it's beautiful. It's Canada, but I can't even picture what it's like. I bet Calgary is nice and pretty, but Edmonton to me just sounds like a hellhole, man.
My favorite DJ on the 70s on 7 is the very pretty Lisa Evans. She's an Edmonton, Alberta girl. So
well, you know a
I
city,
root for Edmonton, Alberta.
you know a state that isn't ugly, and that's Utah. And Utah right now is trying to find the next name of their hockey team. Man.
They are. Well, it's the old Arizona Coyotes.
100%.
So they have put out, the Utah people have put out all these names.
I got my favorite.
Let's put the names up, and let's see if we could run them down.
Let's just do this. I'll go through the list. You tell me if you like it or not. Utah Ice.
No.
Utah Fury.
Nope.
Wait a minute. Can't I vote too?
Yeah, what? Yeah, you didn't
You
say
got to
anything.
yell it out, though.
Utah Ice.
No.
Utah Fury.
No.
Maz, you're annoying. Utah Yeti.
All right, stop it right there. We're done. We have a winner.
The Yeti?
Hell yeah. Utah Yeti? It sounds great.
Are there Yetis in Utah?
Well, the problem is that the Colorado Avalanche, and I know I'm talking about ice soccer here, I apologize, but the Avalanche are quite upset at the prospect of their abominable snowman, their Yeti, getting diminished by a new mascot in Utah.
The Utah Yeti. I've always been a fan of it. If it doesn't exist, then it's not. I'm not rocking with it.
And the Yeti doesn't exist?
Anyway, Utah.
Take this man back to Ann Arbor, please.
We'll save that for those imaginary animals you come up with. Utah Canyons.
Canyons, no.
Utah Blizzard.
No, because it's too close to the Avalanche.
This is true. Utah Outlaws.
Outlaws? Maybe.
There are no outlaws in Utah unless they're Mormons.
Maybe in like the 1800s there were.
No.
What else?
Utah Frost.
Can we just drop all the cold names off?
Utah Hockey Club.
No. You know Ryan will vote for that one.
Solid.
Ryan will vote for Utah HC.
Washington football team.
Oh, I hate that.
Utah Freeze.
No, Avalanche. Too close.
Utah Swarm.
So I guess the bees are a big part, like their state
Utah.
insect or something.
They are the beehive state.
The beehive state.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Swarm might be good.
They should probably throw a sting up there at some point.
Okay.
Or a hornet.
Okay, I got the Swarm. So I wrote the Swarm down. Glaciers.
Nay.
No.
Utah Powders.
I kind of like that one for a few reasons.
I think that one has too many jokes behind it.
It does. That's why I like it.
No dice.
Can't call it powder. Utah Venom.
The Venom?
Yeah.
They have, I believe, 5 or 7 different venomous snakes
Who knows
in Utah.
that outside of you?
That's good, man.
We talk about fake animals and real animals here, Braylon.
What? That is a real animal.
I know. And
Venom's not bad.
I'm dropping facts.
Venom is not bad.
Caribou.
I mean, not
I'm gonna wrote
intimidating.
Venom down.
Not bad. Probably would look cool, but the
Caribou,
Minnesota Wild, they're not going to be happy about that.
That's too soft.
It's too much like the Wild.
That's too soft.
Just call them the Bucks then.
Mammoth.
I like that. Or the Utah Mastodons. Either one.
You know, Mastodons is the what is the state fossil of Michigan?
It is, my man.
Love right there. You know, every once in a while, you got to drop that random knowledge on them.
Impressive.
Utah Black Diamonds.
No.
I like that because I'm a skier.
They only have the Black Knights. You don't need them. Oh, they're the Golden Knights. Sorry, my bad.
Black Diamonds isn't bad.
Not bad. That's
But
top 3 for
are
me.
these conflict diamonds?
That's out.
What's that?
Black Diamonds are out.
I'm joking. Utah Blast.
The Blast?
Yeah, Blast.
Nah.
Too many jokes. Utah, was that Squall? Squall.
The Squall.
That's
No,
not
too
terrible.
close to the Avalanche.
That's too close to the
And they don't
Minnesota
even
Vikings.
have
That
water
sounds like
there
Skull.
anyway. Well, they don't have squalls on
They don't have the
Salt
Jazz
Lake.
either, bro.
Well,
Yeah.
But
we
you got
know that.
Utah
That was an
Jazz.
era where they didn't change names, though.
Yeah,
Utah Hive.
for the Beehive State.
Yeah, but then
I like the Swarm better.
Then Beyonce was Sue.
I like the Swarm better.
Beyonce definitely was
No
Sue.
Hive.
Swarm. Okay. And then Utah Mountaineers.
No thanks.
That's not bad. What do they got in Utah? They got mountains.
What is you? Do you know
West Virginia.
Utah's state cooking pot?
Oh God!
And with that, we are going.
The Dutch oven, baby. True story. Let's go.
You had to go to a certain high school.
You've been under a couple of too many
you
Dutch
had to go
ovens.
to a certain high school for that
I don't
joke.
want to go into that one. You are right.
Hey, look. Let's take a break from these Dutch ovens. We're gonna get over to my man Pete and get some merch in.
That is correct, everybody. I don't have any beehive stuff to sell, but we do have some cool Detroit sports wearables at shop.woodwardsports.com. Go grab yourself some of the latest hoodies, the tees, and the hats that are guaranteed to turn heads, and also grab that 775,000 NFL Draft Day Detroit t-shirt that we're selling in that shop as well. Again, shop.woodwardsports.com. Go load up and get yourself some of the great Detroit sports wearables. We'll be right back.
You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking. And the off-season smells good. Woodward Sports.
What's up, everybody? Neil Rule, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, home of the Planet Fitness Studios. Let me tell you a little personal story about myself with Planet Fitness. Planet Fitness helped me change my life, and it can do the same for you. The best gym in the gym game. The clean facilities, tons of cardio equipment, tons of weights as well. And look, through all the price increases, inflation, all that, hasn't happened at Planet Fitness. Still $1 down, $10 per month, $24.99 a month for the Black Card as well. It's Planet Fitness, everybody, where your fitness is essential.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Braylon Edwards here, Premier Pet Supply. Man, just looking around, who's got it better than pets? Come on, a baby stroller for Coda? A chef for Lola? Really? You don't have to tell me who the real boss here is. Who's got it better than pets? Nobody, especially here at Premier Pet Supply. For over 30 years and more than 13 locations, Premier Pet Supply has everything that your pet can dream of, and guess what? It's all under one roof. Premier Pet Supply, family owned, operated, and proud to call Metro Detroit home. Check out premierpetsupply.com or scan the QR code today. Who's got it better than pets?
Nobody! A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Lady Jane's walk in anytime. It is wicked awesome. All you got to come in and get yourself a precision haircut. Ryan Ermanni goes every Thursday, and the guy looks good. I'm telling you, this is where you come to get your cut. Or, in my eyes, you can get your hair braided as well. They do this, they do that, they do a little bit of everything. You come on, they make you feel good, and it is, once again, wicked awesome. Shout out to my man Anson. Well, Anson, how you feeling over there, buddy?
I'm feeling real great, man. I just got myself trimmed up. I'm looking almost as good as you, thanks to the girls here at Lady Jane's.
Lady Jane's got you right?
Wicked awesome, man.
Tom Masway, man, we got to get you in the chair.
Oh, yeah.
We got to get them to take care of you, man. Take care of you, a nice little scalp massage. You know,
I can use one, man.
Hot lather neck shave, as they call it.
I'm looking forward to it. I haven't had a shave in a barber's chair in probably 25 years.
Why not?
I just haven't gone for it. I just do my own, but those are good back in the day.
It really is a treat, man.
Yeah.
It's great.
But sometimes look, self-care is very prevalent. We're having this conversation off air with my boy over here. Self-care, you got to take care of yourself sometimes. You got to do what makes you feel good. Put a little smile on your face, if you will.
That's right.
Just got a manicure today, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I'm saying? Self-care.
Good for you.
Self-care, appreciate it. Time Masway, NFL, Fox has already done way too early predictions. Why don't we go around the NFL and see what we think?
You got it, man. Let's put that up, Pete. The early predictions from the Fox, NFL on Fox, and look what they got the Lions at. They got the Lions a little bit down lower than we thought they'd be. Look who they have as the number 1 team. None other than the Philadelphia Eagles.
Looking at the playoff picture right now, if you can, I'll read it off to you. They have the Eagles with the first round bye as the 1 seed, San Francisco 2, the Detroit Lions sitting in the 3 seed, and the Atlanta Falcons, ladies and gentlemen. Michael Penix must be starting the quarterback as the 4 seed.
That means
Green
they won
Bay
the South.
as the 5. I'm just messing with you, man.
Yeah.
Green Bay 5, Dallas as the 6. That's cap. And then the Chicago Bears as a 7 seed. Tom Masway, I'll start with you. Where are you with their rankings? Did they get it right?
No, they did not get it right. Okay. You could put the Lions in the 1 slot.
Okay.
I'm telling you right now. You could put the Lions in the 1 slot, San Francisco in the 2 slot. In the 3 slot, we can put, let's see, who else? Then I'll put the Eagles. I'll put the Eagles in the 3. 4, I will put the Falcons because I do believe the Falcons are somehow, some way going to win that NFC South, and that gives them the 4 seed right away. Then you got your 3 wild cards. Green Bay is going to be one of them. I told you I believe in the Bears, and that leaves the third one. And I got to still think it's the Cowboys. I can't see the Cowboys completely falling out of the playoffs.
You and Fox have completely missed the mark. You and Fox have completely missed the mark. The 1 seed will be the Detroit Lions. I believe in the Lions. I don't say that because I report here in the city of Detroit. I just became a Lions fan. I believe it because I see it on the field, and I think they got better in the offseason. The 2 seed is the Rams.
I was going to say, where the hell are the Rams?
Los Angeles Rams, they got better in the offseason. They had another good draft. You saw the moves they made. They stole our own Jonah Jackson so that they can protect the old man and Matt Stafford. We keep talking about it, and I think people are tired of me saying this, but I will say it anyway. The Rams are 2 blown calls away from sending the Lions back home, or they were already home, for sending them to the locker room and the season over. The Rams got better. To not have them in the playoffs,
Okay, I'll put them in over Dallas.
I don't know about that one.
I'll put them in over Dallas, but they're not beating the 49ers for that division.
Says who?
Says me.
Says who? The 49ers are not the same team they were. Maz, if you look at that team, they're not the same team they were. You look at the offensive line, lost some players on the offensive line. The defensive line, they got rid of one of their best linemen in Armstead, and nobody said anything. They just forgot that he existed. Their secondary got torched last season. And now you're losing your defensive lineman who's been the catalyst for Nick Bosa for the last 5 years. And, oh, by the way, they had the best linebacking tandem in the NFL. Well, Greenlaw is no longer there. So how do you replace Greenlaw to put him on the other side of Fred Warner? I don't think, Anson, that this 49ers team is the same team that the Lions should have beat.
Lions basically did beat. I don't see the Rams being better than the 49ers, but I certainly see the Rams being a playoff team. Why are we just skipping over the Bears?
We're not. They're in there.
I didn't skip the Bears.
Yeah, because they shouldn't be in there.
Okay.
You guys are arguing the wrong teams.
Well,
the Bears haven't done anything but get a bunch of
the Rams weren't
rookies.
even in that playoff picture, so that confused me. My apologies.
Yeah, the Rams should be in there. And I don't think we should be arguing about kicking out the Cowboys. I don't know if
they don't make it this year.
I don't know if Atlanta's going to win their division, but I don't really care about that whole division. The Bears have done nothing. They've done nothing for a long time. Yeah. I'm not sure that they're better than Minnesota, which both of them could be battling for that last wild card seed. I think that they'll be that good, but I just don't believe in Caleb Williams. I don't see many rookie quarterbacks outside of CJ in the last 5-10 years, maybe Burrow, doing anything with as a rookie quarterback in this league. I just, the fanfare and the obsession with the Bears offseason is just too much. Take them off my list.
That's fine. Everyone's got their opinion.
Everyone's entitled to their own, and that is my man Anson Wells. All right, here we go.
Let's go to the AFC now. Or you want to do your NFC?
Well, I'm just taking a look at it. I like to put it back up there if you could. Sorry about that, Pete. I go with Lions, the 1 seed. I go with Rams. I go with Eagles. And I guess when you look at it this way, the Falcons, you look at that division, it's not Carolina. I'm still sticking with Tampa.
I think so.
I'm still sticking with Tampa. So then Tampa in the 4, Green Bay in the 5, Dallas, no. Chicago. I like Chicago.
All right.
I like Chicago.
I mean, I think they're going to be on the door knocking. I just don't think that Caleb is that guy. Now, my question for the two of you guys, with your Honolulu boys sitting up on top of that means 14 wins.
Arizona Cardinals, by the way.
I mean, that means 14 wins being the number 1 seed for the Lions, or 15?
No,
13.
I'll say 13 or 14
You think
still.
they can win the NFC with 13 wins?
Because they play San Francisco.
The NFC is going to be a lot tighter this year.
NFC will be tighter. They play San Francisco. They play all the leaders.
They're playing a playoff schedule.
They play the Rams.
Yeah. No, we got a tough schedule. For me, seeing 13, 14, which I think you're going to need every bit of 13, probably 14 to win the NFC.
So now you look at scheduling. Now you look at a team like the Eagles, and maybe that's why Peter Schrager had the Eagles in the 1 seed, because of the schedule, because I think it is a weaker division.
Yeah,
I still don't trust the
Giants and
Cowboys.
Commies are easy out.
Let's switch over to the AFC. This is NFL on Fox. AFC, way too early. Playoff predictions.
First thing that stands out to you, Anson Wells.
Your boys.
The New York Jets in the 6th spot. I knew you saw them like I did.
Well, they had number 1 draft pick, Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, they got Aaron Rodgers, Garrett Wilson, Mike Williams, to see what they did in the offseason. Picked up another offensive lineman to protect my classmate from 2005. Tom, I asked the same question to you before I answered. First thing you see when you look at this, go.
Okay, Colts not going to make it.
So that's the first thing you saw.
First thing I see is Colts are not going to make it.
Okay, and that first thing you saw was the Jets.
I like the Jets in there. The Colts,
Hold on. Is that the first thing you saw was the Jets?
Yeah.
Okay. First thing I see, there's no Miami Dolphins on this. That's the first thing that I see is there's no Miami Dolphins on this list. Now, I'm not saying the Miami Dolphins are going to win the AFC East. I'm actually saying that. But to not have them on here, I don't know about this one, Fox. Tom Mazaway, what say you?
Wow. I forgot about them. When not seeing them.
And they had one of the best drafts.
No, they're in there. The Dolphins are in there. They might. Let's just say they win that division.
Thank you. Anson,
takes Buffalo out.
Can we stop the love affair with the Buffalo Bills?
Absolutely. Who's he going to throw to? Keon Coleman? I mean, their running situation is all right, but
Dalton Kincaid.
They're small guys. Dalton Kincaid is a player, but I think that there is a major storm headed for Josh Allen. They haven't been able to keep their wide receivers there. This is a guy, listen, continued cap success is the same thing as continued failure in this league. And there's no better team to ask about that than the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't even think Buffalo makes the playoffs. I think the same about Buffalo as I think about the Dallas Cowboys. I feel like they've gotten close time and time again, but they've been on the descent. Look at what Dallas has done in the playoffs, and you track Buffalo in the last 4 playoffs, they've lost earlier and earlier and earlier. Last 2 years, they lost in the first round.
Let's do the divisions then.
Oh, just one last question about that. Do you believe in the Houston Texans?
Yeah. How do you not?
Yeah.
They made the playoffs last year, and they got better. They got Stephon Diggs. They had a great draft.
Like they'll get Tank Dell back ahead of schedule, and he'll be okay from
Yes, they are. They're one of the better teams.
Daniil Hunter in the offseason.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
they got better.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go around here. Kansas City's going to win the AFC West.
Travis Kelce got extended.
But
did that surprise you a little bit?
Not really. No,
he was going to retire.
Yeah, but he didn't. You saw how he played the playoffs. You saw how he played the playoffs.
Yeah,
that just showed you. It proved to you that I don't want to play in the regular season. I'm just going to play in the playoffs. So he gets a nice little 2-year extension, makes some extra money. Taylor Swift gets to go to more games. So let's go. AFC East is going to be the Dolphins. AFC Central, or North now as it's called, it's going to be the Ravens.
Yep.
The South is going to be the Texans.
Yep.
And the West is going to be the Chiefs. Yep. So those are your top 4. That leaves 3 teams. I like the Jets to make it. Okay. Buffalo is going to fight. Cincinnati's going to fight. Cleveland's going to fight.
What about the Steelers?
I said Cleveland.
What about the Steelers?
Steelers are going to be probably on the edge. There's only so much room.
They'll be in the playoffs. It's the Steelers. Mike Tomlin, baby.
I don't know. No Colts.
So there's a team that you haven't mentioned, and this is a team that we've talked about on the show, declining as well. This is a team where you're like, this guy's the number 1 pick overall. He's going to be a number 1. Well, last couple of years, Trevor Lawrence hasn't necessarily proven to us that he's a number 1. Is Jacksonville a team? You forgot about Jacksonville. What are your thoughts on Jacksonville? And since Frank Reich has not Frank Reich, excuse me. Why did I say Frank Reich?
Trevor Lawrence
down in Carroll. Yes, exactly. Go ahead.
I'm not a Jacksonville guy. I spoke it last year. Everybody here at the studio, they're a playoff team. They're a playoff team. I don't see it. It's an SOL. It's an SOL organization.
They got a laundry list of players that should be stars. I mean, hell, they just got Josh. Speaking of Josh Allen's, the real Josh Allen just got paid in the offseason, the highest deal before I think Chris Jones got paid, but the highest deal. Then you have Etienne. That's another name. You go down the list, Trevor Lawrence. There's names after names. Oh, by the way, Trayvon Walker, the number 1 pick in the draft 3 years ago, is on that team. It makes no sense that this team is declining like they are. I think it might be the Eagles saw something in Doug Peterson when they let him go.
Yeah, you put a bunch of names on a sheet of paper. It doesn't mean that they're going to do it together.
Don't tell the people in Chicago that.
Well, that's what I'm thinking is going to happen in Chicago as well. These are kind of mirroring teams. Everybody was, Trevor Lawrence is just this next, generational quarterback. I never saw that. I don't see the same I see the exact same thing with Caleb. A bunch of people just overestimating what this guy's going to be in the pros. And then you bring a bunch of different personalities that have never been together before, and it doesn't often work. So, I mean, I like their draft this season, but I still think Jacksonville's on the out looking in.
What's the realistic high ceiling for the New York Jets? Obviously, I played for them. That's my squad. Aaron Rodgers is coming back. You yourself, big Jets fan as well. What's the realistic ceiling for this Jets team? Still coached by Robert Saleh, by the way.
They could win 10 games.
Okay.
10-7 and get into playoffs.
Yep.
Somehow get into playoffs. If Aaron Rodgers stays healthy, he's still one of the best quarterbacks in the league until he's proven not. Last year, I was so excited that he was ready to play, and what happened? The Achilles went.
I was at the game.
Yep. I know you were.
I tell the story all the time. Like Anson, I was at the game. Joel, I was at the game legitimately. Watched the first play, then went to the inside of the Win Bets Club bar, whatever you will, that's connected to the suite that they put the alumni players in. Went to the bar, grabbed a drink. Everyone in the stadium got quiet.
Silent, I bet.
Can you just imagine, like, everything got quiet. I thought somebody hit pause on life. I turned around and everybody gasps and you look and Aaron's down. So I was there. It was, you talking about knock the cells or the wind out of your cells at the third play of the game or fourth play. Yeah,
sucked.
But he made a quick recovery. He's positive spirits. Maz, we're going to see what they can do. I like 10-7. I think that East is not as strong. I think it's really between them and the Miami Dolphins.
We'll find out, man.
Yeah.
We'll find out. But the way, way, way too early. NFL on Fox predictions. Always good to talk football.
NFL is like the one and only sport that you really pay attention to the way too early predictions. Any other sport, I could care less.
No one
way
cares.
too early football.
No one does it. We're even mocking schedules for crying out loud.
I'm looking at the next year's draft already, man. I love it.
Hey,
the NFL is king.
Couple receivers found new homes today. Told you about Allen Robinson landing with the New York
Catholic
Giants.
Central.
How about that? Look at that. And the Giants, there's the new Giants for you.
This is the Giants wide receiver room. I got a question for you when we come out. Malik Neighbors, the all-star from LSU. A lot of people thought that he was better than Marvin Harrison. I think he's good. He's not that damn good. Darius Slayton, a wide receiver that's still trying to figure out if he can figure it out. Allen Robinson, that's a name. Local guy, also did not work in Chicago like it did 6 years ago with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Wan'Dale Robinson, Jalen Hyatt from Tennessee, and Isaiah Hodgins. Maz, what is it about the New York Giants where it just seems like they just keep bringing in the wrong wide receiver?
Well, they're trying, man.
Every wide receiver just seems like the wrong wide receiver.
They drafted Kadarius Toney a few years ago. They thought he was going to be a stud.
They threw $21 million a year at Kenny Golladay. Wrong wide receiver.
I know.
Real wrong.
I got to hope that Malik Neighbors is the real deal. And Jalen Hyatt is a speedster. He could come into his own.
And don't sleep on Wan'Dale either.
Yeah. One thing about those speedsters, you got to be able to catch the ball no matter how fast you are. And it doesn't seem like that's panning out. But I hope so. Like we just talked about it. When the Big Four play well in New York, New York's a live city. We're talking about the Knicks being good. When the Giants are good, football is just better.
It is.
It just is what it is. You don't have to be a Giants fan to understand that. When the Giants are good, the league is better.
Yankees, same thing.
Yankees, 100%. Tigers, I throw that in.
And the Rangers. And for hockey, they're doing real
They're
well.
They're cooking right now.
Zay Jones is visiting the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City's slopping together their wide receivers. But Zay Jones looking for a home. What do you think about him?
Zay Jones is a guy that I think is still living off a couple great moves, great plays that he had when he was with the Raiders. He had a couple great plays with the Raiders. He had one great game. He had a couple of those catches that you remember throughout the whole season. I think one was in overtime. He won the game. And there was another one in the back of the end zone, third or fourth quarter. See, I remember that. Outside of that, got paid to go down to Jacksonville. Didn't necessarily work in Jacksonville. I think he's a journeyman. Like I wouldn't take a flyer on Zay Jones.
Total journeyman. He's drafted by the Bills, I believe.
True.
Drafted pretty high.
Yeah.
And he's on his fourth or fifth team at this point. He was decently effective last year for Jacksonville, but he's a forgotten wide receiver at this point. He'd be signed prior to yesterday if he wasn't.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with that.
Zay Flowers, on the other hand.
Hey.
Yeah, right?
Now that's a good Zay.
Zay Flowers, boy. Like we saw that last year. It's so funny how maybe once every 3-4 years somebody comes along with some feet and some agility that makes you just question the new wave of athlete. The stuff that he was doing in training camp last year, Baltimore Ravens said they had never seen anything like that. And then we got a chance to see it in the regular season. If Zay Flowers can bounce back, remember the playoff game?
Oh, yeah.
If
Big fumble at the goal line.
He had 2 big plays.
Yeah.
He had the drop and the fumble, but look, it happens as a young man. If he can bounce back, I think Lamar Jackson is a great mentor for him, a great teacher.
Yeah.
I think this man could be electric. He
Ravens are going to be tough, man.
Yeah.
I know we say it a lot, but they really are going to be a tough team.
yeah.
They're going to be a tough out.
And you think about
Henry?
Zay Flowers at the end of the season, they were without Mandrews.
Yeah.
You know, Isaiah Likely's a great young tight end.
Oh,
but,
I forgot about Isaiah Likely.
yeah, but at this point,
And the running back,
Zay
too.
Flowers was really the focus of every offense. So now you get a healthy Mandrews back. You get one of the most fearsome running backs of all time, and Henry getting headed over there. Devontae Walker, their draft pick out of UNC, guy that struggled with eligibility through the year. And so he still led the team in touchdowns, receptions, and yards. I'm a huge believer in this guy. I was kind of hoping that the Lions would end up with him because he went off the board later than I felt he should. That 1-2 punch could be absolutely what Lamar needs to get over that hump.
Okay. I like it. The Ravens are always a team. You know what they're going to do. They're going to be, when they're healthy, they're going to dominate. They're usually going to win that division. They'll dominate the regular season. They'll win the first playoff game if they have one. But what the Ravens' struggles really are is that second and third round of the playoffs. And we saw it again last year. Lamar Jackson and Todd Monken, the offensive coordinator from Georgia, they just could not get on the same page. And it looked horrible. It didn't look like an MVP performance.
Well, what weapons have they ever surrounded Lamar with?
Well,
Hollywood Brown was great for a year, and then they got rid of him.
Well, see, last year was the first year, so that's why I don't have problems with the past. Look, I understand. They missed so many players. They had a lot of players that were injured in the last 5-year playoff run.
Absolutely.
Last year is the first year that I would really look at Lamar Jackson and say, hey, all right, now, we paid you. We surrounded you. We stayed healthy. What's up, bro? They had 3 running backs last year in the playoffs. They had 3. All of them contributed. So last year was the first year where you can take a look at Lamar and say, okay, things.
You got a little bit of weapons.
Yeah, 100%.
A little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit. That committee of 3 backs, not very effective. J.K. Dobbins a couple years ago was supposed to be the guy. Mandrews was hurt. Even though he came back in the playoffs, he wasn't getting any touches or any reps.
But I don't want to hear that. When we watch you play the San Francisco 49ers and you blow that team out at home.
True.
When you blow that team out at home, you were at home when you faced the Chiefs.
And the Lions.
And then they blew the Lions out.
They beat both NFC title teams.
First of all, they blew Green Bay out too.
Yeah.
They looked unstoppable.
They blew all these teams
out.
out. I don't want these excuses. You didn't have anybody because when we watched those games, you had enough.
Hey, superfan Burn on the chat, $5 he put in.
Appreciate you, Burn.
And he says, I don't care if Dallas is at 6 and Detroit is at 3. That's cap, by the way. I want them. Bring Dallas to Detroit. Make them face the people of Detroit. But guess what? We're going to Dallas again for crying out loud this year.
Well, Burn has a great point. In the playoffs, they could have a chance to come here if they get in, which somehow you guys believe they are. They're not making the playoff. But that would be an amazing game. Man, just talk about what that would mean to the city of Detroit.
Oh.
The team that has been the thorn, although they had success and we didn't, but the team that has been linked to the Lions and their successes has been the Cowboys. The team that's cheated us time and time again has been Dallas and the Cowboys and the refs. To get them in the playoffs at home, that could be the most watched game in playoff history.
It was a Sunday night game last year, if you remember, guys. I know you do. Towards the end of the year when Dan Campbell's like, the hell with the extra point. Let's go for the 2 points 3 times in a row. We all know what happened. But to do that again, to make that a playoff game and to flip-flop it, just like the Rams when they came here to Ford Field last year, it was unbelievable. Tampa Bay after that. Even the Tampa Bay game wasn't as exciting as having Matthew Stafford and the Rams at here. To get Dallas here just brings back those memories of the Silverdome when the Lions ran it in 1991 and Barry Sanders turned around Tony Casillas like a little carousel.
Oh my God.
He just used him, abused him, and the Lions took out the big Cowboys as they were starting to come in together. Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, Michael Irvin, and that offensive line. They beat them just before they started to really get great. But it would be great to have the Cowboys come here. But we're going there in the regular season again, guys, and that'll be fun as well. That'll probably be a Sunday night game.
Karma's real.
Yeah, that would be a lot of fun. You talk about the playoff. You talk about that atmosphere here. That means you're talking about Detroit Lions fans. Yesterday, we were talking about how well the Lions fans travel. They're now starting to become a thing. Anson, I want to bring you are a super fan of your Detroit teams, nobody else. Only the state of Michigan, Detroit teams. Could the Lions fans replace Bills Mafia? Because don't act like Bills Mafia was a thing that was started when they were winning games in the 90s with Jim Kelly. I didn't hear about Bills Mafia until about 5-6 years ago. And now we know it's on the decline. Can the Lions be that next deal?
What did they say on Tom Brady's roast the other night?
3 hours and 7 minutes worth of stuff.
But you can't be Bills Mafia if there's no ring to kiss, right?
Ooh.
You can't be Mafia if there's no ring to kiss.
I like it.
Listen.
That's a good one.
Those guys, I mean, if you're a Bills fan, you're devoted, but you kind of think it's never going to happen. Very much like this city and all of the fans here did for so long. Now, I'm not branding them. I'm not saying it's over, but SOL seems so far in our rearview mirror. This culture, this brand new Lion culture seems absolutely so legitimate, but you have the timing of Hard Knocks. You have the timing of this 70-year disgrace franchise coming up. You have national interest. These aren't just Lions fans like Bills. Bills Mafia doesn't have any people coming on from other states. There aren't Bills fans in Arizona. There are Lions fans all over the country that aren't from Detroit. This is America's new team.
It is.
Yeah, 100%. You know who's all over Tom Mazaway? Michigan offensive lineman in the NFL. Did you see the stat?
Take a look at this, guys.
Put that up there, Pete, if you will, about the Michigan lineman. ML football, wow. The Michigan Wolverines currently have the most offensive linemen on NFL rosters of any other schools, 14 great in the trenches. And we immediately come to one thing. You know what that is. When Jim Harbaugh came to Michigan 9 years ago, his mission was to get back in the trenches, to get the offensive line and the defensive line mass. Talk about what he's done. This is all on Jim Harbaugh.
You know it is. And I'm still sad to this day that he's not here with the Michigan Wolverines anymore. He's going to put the Chargers on the map here within the next couple of years. We all know that. And what was his first pick? You know what he did. He went to Notre Dame and he grabbed the best lineman out there, and Joe Alt. Yeah. That's his number one pick. They were not trading that pick. He was not going to even take a chance on Joe Alt going anywhere else. He builds with the trenches. He's going to run the ball down your throat. He signed like 3 or 4 running backs. Someone will get the ball, and someone will be a great fantasy back in L.A. for the Chargers as well. I know Anson's big on the fantasy football, so you know it. That's it. Offensive line. Michigan had 18 guys going to the NFL draft.
13 got drafted.
At the Combine, 13 got drafted. 5 others got signed as undrafted free agents. That's why they won the championship, guys. He knows how to build a team, and that's how you do it, man. It started with Penei Sewell here in Detroit. Yeah. Here we are.
And that's what I was kind of getting to. The crux of the matter is, you see where you have stability up front. You can protect the quarterback. You can have a run game. You can do a lot of things. And that's what you're seeing here in Detroit. The line is the catalyst for what makes this team go. The line, Frank Ragnow, Taylor Decker, and then obviously the big guy on the right end and Penei Sewell. This is the catalyst, and this is why the Lions, this is why Jared Goff, I understand Amon-Ra St. Brown, I understand Sam Laporte, and I understand Jahmyr Gibbs. The offensive line is why Jared Goff is about to get this extension answer.
Yeah. You know who didn't care about Michigan offensive linemen or the fact that they're the cheaters and worse?
And that's why I didn't ask you.
Jadeveon Clowney.
That's why I didn't ask. In terms of what? We weren't. That's not even the same era. That's not even the same era.
It's not, but I was just watching that spot.
But
how do you give him that first down? But Jadeveon Clowney didn't care.
Look, like Rasheed Wallace said a long time ago, ball don't lie. Ball don't lie.
No, I did not that one. That's for sure.
But why are you bringing up old stuff? We talking about current.
That's all he's got.
Why are you bringing up old stuff?
Man, you guys got 1 year. It was a good one, though.
First of all, I didn't even say anything about the year. We were talking about them in the NFL. No, so apparently that means they had more than one good year.
Well, and you win in the trenches. And you guys won a national championship based on the work that you guys have done. I can't even remember the guy's name that came at Rich Rod. Rich Rod came in here.
And that's the Jadeveon Clowney game.
I was so happy that he did because he changed the entire system and style of play. You're in the Big Ten. This is a bruising conference. And when you start getting small, speedy guards that can pull and
how'd
stuff.
How'd that work for him?
It worked really well if you're a Spartans fan.
Yeah, he lost me a lot of money, but that's neither here nor there. Look, we're going to take a break real quick. Hear from a man over there, Pete and Guardian Alarm, and we'll come back to some more conversation.
That's right, everybody. What happens when you see that black and yellow sign out in front of your house? It tells the bad guys one thing.
Tell Rich Rod to stay out.
That's right. And Rich Rod fans, stay out of there. Let Guardian Alarm offer you customized solutions from real people, 24/7 professional monitoring, and technology backed by people. And that technology has been proven to work, and those people have been proven to care. So call 1-800.
Stay out.
That's 1-800.
Stay out.
Call them today and tell them Woodward Sports sent you. We'll be right back, folks.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
What's up, everybody? Neil Rule, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, home of the Planet Fitness Studios. Let me tell you a little personal story about myself with Planet Fitness. Planet Fitness helped me change my life, and it can do the same for you. The best gym in the gym game. The clean facilities, tons of cardio equipment, tons of weights as well. And look, through all the price increases, inflation, all that, hasn't happened at Planet Fitness. Still $1 down, $10 per month, $24.99 a month for the Black Card as well. It's Planet Fitness, everybody, where your fitness is essential.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
To any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week, walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Congratulations to the real Coach of the Year, Motor City Dan Campbell.
Just put your head down and go to work. It's about to be fun, man. It's about to be fun.
Woodward Sports.
Soroki's Crispy Chicken and Pizza taking over Michigan. You know why? It's because the Nashville Hot is back. Limited time only. I keep telling you that. It's not going to be here one day. That pizza is fire. Chicken sandwich, the fries, I say it every day. And the chicken tenders, if that's not your thing. Well, you also can get fresh sides and salads at Soroki's. They're popping up all over the place. Go in. Trust me. It is the spot right now to hang out at. Go to Soroki's, Nashville Hot. Limited time only. Welcome back. Ermanni Edwards with Maz. Maz had to take off. Double hitter. Shout out to his girls. Good luck today, ladies. I don't think you'll be rained out, so swing away. Anson Wells, appreciate you for joining as always. Here we are. Another Spartan.
We got it.
Want to introduce
2
my
on
man
1 here.
Want to introduce my guy, new intern here with Sports, Joe. Joe, what's up, bud?
What's up, Braylon? What's up? How you doing? How you doing? Go green. Oh wait.
Oh Lord.
You good?
That's why it didn't work. See, that's why that's why it didn't work. Y'all was trying to be cool. Now I'm stuck in the middle of 2 Spartans, man. Last time this happened, I was in the end zone.
Oh, well played. Well played.
I appreciate that.
Well played. I was watching that damn game.
I definitely got him.
Hey, clip that, boys. What was that? That was at the 1 hour and 30 seconds, 131.
Man, I definitely got you. I got you.
Appreciate that. Joe, we will get back into some NBA. If you didn't tune in earlier, we were talking about the NBA, talking about the playoff game last night. Jalen Brunson being electric, talking about tonight's game, looking ahead. Just get into Jalen Brunson for a second. Pause. Like, how was he able to play at this level? It doesn't matter if he's injured, it seems. It doesn't matter what the competition is. He just seems to rise to the occasion necessary.
I feel when it comes to Jalen Brunson, like how you said, we spoke on it earlier, he's been preparing since he's been a literal child. Even when he wasn't training, he was just being around the game, being around the people of the game, learning the game. And then you can even see the old clips coming out of him practicing with his dad, his dad being tough on him, stuff like that. When you like a kid, like you spoke on earlier, training like a pro, that stuff is like, when you get to these big moments, they're really not big moments for you because you've been preparing for them. And when the Pacers are doing things like in the game, just leaving Andrew Nembhard on an island with him, it's like that's his main thing is a one-on-one game. So they're literally just giving him the ball every time down the stretch, fourth quarter, one-on-one, go work. That's literally the whole New York game is an ISO ball, just go work, play. That's basically what they playing right now with him. Is like it's just like a playground style of basketball, and nobody can really check him, honestly.
Yeah, 100%. You know, ISO is the whole NBA, by the way, but they're just playing it at a different level. I don't know what the hell Rick Carlisle is doing. Stop complaining and change the defense around.
No doubt.
Anson, let me ask you a question. You know, Joe brings up a good point. You're talking about a guy in college, a guy that's been doing this since he was young. His father was in the NBA game. We talked about that. But what we didn't talk about how important it was to have those 3 years in college. Because now we look at college as like, oh, you went to college for 4 years? He's no good. Why is he a junior and still in college? Why is he a sophomore and still in college? Obviously, it's before the NIL. But you're talking about a guy that went to Villanova for 3 years. You're talking about won a championship in year one. I think he was averaging 9 points a game, was better in year two. Then they come back and win the championship again in his third year where he averaged 20 points a game and won in Naismith. Talk about why that's important, although it seems like it's a lost art.
When you jump in a 3 year time span, 1 year spent in high school to the NCAA to the NBA, not only is the play so much different, but the day-to-day of everything is different. I'm sure you can speak to that being at Michigan and being in the NFL. When you've got a guy like that is a smaller guy that isn't going to step in at 18, 19 years old and physically dominate at the NCAA level, you want them to stick around, but they gain so much more than just on-court experience. Again, we've prefaced many times on how this is a more mature type of dude who was brought up in an NBA system, an NBA home. But when you give a guy like that, who again isn't physically dominating, the ability to adjust and mature at the NCAA level, which is really a large taste of what you're going to see in the NBA compared to what you were doing in high school, I think it's super beneficial. Look at what Jordan Love and what A-Rod were able to do. Spending 3 years learning and not having to have all of that onus put on you. Because, like it or not, 1 year into the NBA, if you come out after 1 year in college, you're a failure after that year or you're a success. They don't give you much room.
Yeah, 100%. I'm going to start calling you Jay Green because the first thing you said on the show is go green. So now that's stuck with you forever. So Jay Green, I come back to you. You love that?
I love that. Jay Green in the house. What's good?
We can do that.
You Spartans, man. Y'all something else. No, but just looking at the New York Knicks now, does their roster have enough this year for the playoffs? And if actually, let me reverse that question. Does their roster have enough when they're at full strength to do real damage in the East? And I say that to say there's no Mitchell Robinson, there's no Julius Randle, who I think needs to be gone anyway. Does their roster have enough, or do they need to add a piece after this season?
After this season, I really don't see, like, based off the roster they have now, I don't want to, like, have them, like, mess with it and taint the team, like bringing in the wrong type of culture guy or the wrong type of fit for their system. Well, I feel, honestly, I had them before the playoffs started slated to make the finals. So I feel that was even without Julius Randle in the roster. So I feel they honestly do have a roster build of a championship team because you got guys like Josh Hart, like your hustle and glue guys. You got shooters like Dante DiVincenzo. You got dudes like LG Anunoby who can lock down your perimeter defender and also get you buckets. You got guys like Brunson, like we've been talking about the whole time, just dominant guard who can score, also facilitate. Then you got dudes like Mitchell Robinson, Isaiah Hartenstein, serviceable bigs. It's just like I honestly feel if Julius Randle does come back, he can like be that extra piece that's just like that one last guiding piece that they need. I honestly feel, and even with a slight bench, like you got to do like Deuce McBride who can come off, and he may not give you 20 every time, but at the times where it seems like they've needed it most, he's been able to give them like 15, 20 points. So when you got like, I guess an X factor like that coming off your bench, maybe pair, I would say 2 more role players, something like that. Then I feel that'll really submit them next year for sure.
You know, a team that seems like they have enough, and we haven't talked since their second win, and that's Anthony "Ant-Man" Edwards and the Minnesota Timberwolves. They win Game 2 without Rudy Gobert, who left because his wife was having their first child. They win by 26 again. Anthony Edwards, and we talked about it then. We thought bet the house on the Denver Nuggets that night. We did the show Tuesday. Bet the house on the Nuggets. They got to show up. They're the reigning defending champs. They got the guy that's going to win MVP. Well, since he's won MVP, what's up with the Nuggets? They just seem out of whack.
They really do seem out of whack. They can't shoot the ball well. You're going up against one of the best teams defensively in the NBA. And then you lose even worse when the defensive player of the year is out. The
that?
mental makeup right now of Minnesota seems like a team that's been there before. And you've not seen that out of Denver. But that being said, don't be surprised when Denver wins this series in 7 games. I know that sounds crazy right now, but everybody sentences these teams to wins or losses in this series. It's only game 1 and game 2, guys.
Anson saying 7 games. I'm saying sweep. Listen, I say, before I say why, where do you lie on this?
I fall in between the two of you. I fall 6
4
games.
games and 2?
Yeah, I fall in between 6 games. So
Do you have a winner?
What you call it?
Minnesota?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I feel it's 6 games though because I feel the Nuggets not gonna just go out like that, just getting completely swept off the court. Like their team is honestly too good with Jokic being in there. So
this is true. I did see this happen to the Bucks with the Miami Heat, but the reason why is the same thing I talked about what I saw in game 1 we talked about. Then we talked about it on Wednesday, what we saw in game 2. They're just out of whack. They're out of sorts. You got Mike Malone running on the court like he's yelling at the refs. This is a guy that just won the championship last year. Why is your all-star MVP, 3-time player, why does he have 16 points in the first game? Why does he not look like the guy that they told me was more dominant than Shaq? Why does he not look like that? Like, if you can't look like that in 2 games as the champ, what's going to change when you're now in Minnesota?
I would say, honestly, now Mike Malone talked about it when they were in that Lakers series. He says they seem to play with more of a sense of urgency when they got their back against the wall.
Okay.
Because when if you look at it, they were down every game against the Lakers. So they obviously kind of do have like some sense of urgency when they got their back against the wall.
Yeah.
So I feel next game they come out, the game 3, I feel that's, I won't say definitely their game, but I feel I wouldn't be surprised if the Timber or the Nuggets just come out and just put the throttle to them game 3. It's just like they know they back against the wall. They know like it's do or die now.
It has to be their get right game.
Yeah.
Coming out, they've got to be in the locker room. This is the end of their almost run. I mean, they were kind of looking at maybe are we going to be able to win 2 in a row, maybe 3 in a row. I'm a conspiracy theorist when it comes to all the major sports. I believe that
I think everything.
The NBA is not going to let these guys go down in 4 games.
100%.
Period.
Yeah, we've been talking about the refs and the calls and
You're going to see a lot of whistles blown in this game. You're going to see a lot of free throws for those guys. But again, if Denver's outside guys aren't hitting shots, then you're going to see Jokic with another 16, and with 12 rebounds and maybe 8 assists. But when those guys are dominant, it's when the other guys are hitting on the perimeter that makes him that much more dangerous as a post man in the middle of everything. So I think that they come out, they take this game, but it's really interesting because I think everybody in the NBA, all the fans around outside of Denver, everyone wants to see Ant-Man move on. 100%.
Speaking of Denver, Colorado quarterback Shedeur Sanders.
Yes, sir.
Is going to make $4.6 million in NIL deals alone this season. Jay Green, where are you with the NIL in terms of where it's gotten in terms of guys being able to get that bag, as they say? Because 4.6, I can only imagine what I would have done at 4.6, 21 years old. Jeez Louise.
Sheesh. Yeah, no, I'm a fan of the NIL because I was feeling for the longest that these athletes, well, you even know yourself, are bringing in so much money for these schools and really at the end of the day sometimes are still struggling like to get meals, to get certain things. So it's like that wasn't fair for the athletes. So I love that there's an NIL and a system in place now for them to get paid. What'd you say?
4.6.
Yeah, 4.6 million is a lot of money
wild.
for a college athlete. I would just say what I would hope when it comes to that they start putting in place like things for like athletes to learn how to manage that type of money. Like granted, his dad is Deion Sanders.
Right.
So
That's right. But everybody doesn't have access to that.
He has a good, like you said, not everybody has access to that. So I would just like to see, I don't have a problem with the money the athletes are getting. They earned it. They deserve it. All the work they've put in. I just want to see the NCAA help them and put in things in place to like let them know that this money probably won't last forever if you do some dumb stuff with it.
So before I go to you, because I actually want to get your thoughts on 4.6. That's a lot of coin. That's a lot of coin for, like you said, 21, 20, 19-year-old. You look at Quinn Ewers. Quinn Ewers, $1 million at Ohio State before he had ever thrown a pass, and then he goes to Texas. the one thing I would say I like about it, you're talking about financial literacy. And that's the problem a lot of athletes have. They don't tap into financial literacy. You get through college, you get in the NFL, get in the NBA, you get gifted all this money, and then your spending habits. You don't know how to spend. You don't know how to save. You don't understand the 401k. So I like it because once you start paying them kind of taxes, you learn real quick about the government. You learn real quick about what you're supposed to do. You learn about financial and why is this going here and where is this going and how do I save? So I like it from that standpoint because I see you'll see a lot of brothers making some good deals. People in general. Anson, where are you with $4.6 million for Shedeur Sanders this year? Hasn't won anything. And you can go back to Jackson State, still hasn't won anything, but he's getting paid $4.6 million this season alone, which is more than some quarterbacks in the NFL.
There was nothing that was more gotta watch football in the first third of last season than Colorado Buffaloes.
And Shedeur Sanders, yeah.
And my old man was hitting me up. He's like, how can I download this thing so I can watch Colorado? I'm like,
is he typically dialed into?
No, he's not dialed into college football at all. And he wanted to watch it because he loves prime time. And Shedeur is such a great extension of his father, the way that he plays the game. I mean, he's one of the best athletes on any field that he stands on.
Agreed.
But he also carries himself so darn well. Now, my question with this NIL money is, I don't care how much they're making because there are big wigs up sitting in the booths on top of the stadiums that are making so much.
There we go, Anson.
So much
That's
more.
what I'm talking about, my guy.
I got no issues with that.
Thank you.
Now, there needs to be some safeguards. So let's talk about Caden Proctor out of Iowa. I'm not sure if you're familiar with this kid, but he was actually from Iowa, wanted to go there, ended up going to Alabama, right? This offseason, he transferred, got $500,000 to transfer. Oh, but there's no safeguard. He never played it down for Iowa, and he just transferred back to Alabama. So when you're talking about something like that, they've put this system in, and they needed to. They needed to protect these kids and get them paid because otherwise they're going to find routes to money, alternative routes that we don't want them taking. But they threw it in so quickly. There's a lot of problems with it. They've got to tighten it up. They've got to protect the schools now because so much has gone towards the players. But I have absolutely zero problem with $4.6 million going to the best athlete to watch this coming season in the NCAA, Shedeur Sanders.
I can't wait to see what Shedeur Sanders is going to do. I mean, you look what he was able to do with Travis Hunter last year. You're talking about 72 kids in the transfer portal. Like, that's a lot to start a college football team with. So they'll get more players and get a little more sustainability this year. Excited for that, too. Sticking with football, Pete, you put that story. Throw that up there if you get a chance. Rashee Rice, we know what happened with him and the car situation.
But it happened again on Monday.
And that's what I was about to say. He had a car situation on the freeway. You saw the video. He runs away from the car. 2 people are suing him that were in that accident. Then something happened on Sunday. There was a club incident. And now there's apparently a third incident, or is this just the
same one? But Zay Jones is starting to look really smart over in Kansas City at this point.
100%. Here we go. Breaking. An incident report from Lit Kitchen says Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice messaged the victim, a photographer, to return to the business and then punched him in his face, per Fox 4 local down there. Nice. The photographer thought Rice just wanted to take pictures of him. Wow.
He snapped him all right.
We talked about this yesterday. I'll bring it to you, Jay. You talking about a guy last year that was a rookie. He becomes the best wide receiver on the team. He was quarterbacked by Patrick Mahomes, the best quarterback there is, and let's be honest, the best quarterback there ever will be when it's all said and done. I'm fine by saying that.
I'm not against you on that.
I'm about to say he doesn't need to win 7 rings to be the best ever. At the end of the day, he can win 2 more. He can win 1 more, but continue his body of work.
Which 100%.
Patrick Mahomes, your quarterback, your rookie year, you win the Super Bowl, and now you had these instances. What's going through his mind right now, you thinking?
I think in that is probably just as an older person to tell you smelling yourself. So he probably just, like you said, his rookie year.
Stuff happens. I remember being a rookie, and trust me, I'm not passing any judgment. I made plenty of mistakes. I'm still making mistakes. But more so just asking what's going through his mind.
You saying more so after the situation or to get him in the situation?
To get him in the situation for a second time.
Yeah, no. Like I said, it's just now it's more so like they say, money doesn't really change you. It just shows who you already were. So this probably
magnifies.
I don't really want to like speak on it like that because I don't know him as a person before the NFL or really at all. But it's just like when situations like this keep happening, it's starting to like it becomes a trend.
Yeah,
it's just more so like, all right, you showing us who you are. Like, is this you as a person? I feel as this also too with that situation that just happened. He probably just like going through some stress, probably having a case looming over him and all that type of stuff. So probably just bad choice after bad choice.
100%. All right, look, man, I don't want to talk about him too much more, but get it together, brother. Get it together.
A bad choice himself out of the league.
100. You're not lying about that. Trust me. I've seen it happen to better players than him. 100%. Anson, let's talk about the Tigers for a minute.
All right.
Tigers, we talked about it last week, a couple weeks ago. They're 18-13. You're talking about the Tigers moving in a positive direction, pitching outstanding, hitting not so much. Fast forward, week 5-6 days later, the Tigers are now 19-18. I think they went 1-5 against the Yankees and the Guardians. Now they start a 6-game homestand against the Astros. Where are you with this Tigers team, and where's the fault, and where's the majority of blame, and where should it go?
In 2026, the Tigers and our other 3 teams will all win their divisions. But the Tigers aren't there yet. They don't have enough offense. Their pitching is surprising. It's surprising. Tarek Skubal, what he's doing, that's going to even out a little bit.
Okay.
As great as he's
him and
been,
Flaherty right now, like, what?
Those guys are going to even out a little bit.
True. Maybe.
I like what they're doing, but again, this is a new regime here. They're a year away from really contending to be able to win the division. I think in 2026, though, they are the powerhouse in the division, and that happens for some years. I think we're going to see that with all of our teams.
What will make them the powerhouse in 2026? Like, what's going to turn the tide, or do they have the players now? They just need a couple more. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I think they need a couple more, but there's a lot of guys on this team that are contributing that need to turn into better players. For a while, nobody's wanted to come to Detroit. I mean, what are our major free agent signings? We just don't really have them. So I think that we'll be contending this year. We'll be in the wild card conversation. I still think we'll miss the playoffs. But next year, we probably end up as a wild card team. And that's enough over this season and next where the interest for other players, for free agents, for everybody is back here in Detroit for the Tigers.
Pete, where are you with this? Do you see the levels for the bats and the levels in the pitching? Do you see them balancing out to the 2 in the line? I mean, the Tigers, they can have a chance in the Central, or do you think that they're just going to fall apart now?
No, they're going to fall apart because they're 3 bats away. I mean, the bats that they brought in, Canna, and obviously we know Baez, we know Torkelson, they're just not cutting their weight, obviously. Yeah. And I think Canna is like
Horatio was hurt.
Huh?
Horatio was hurt.
Yeah, exactly. And then Giovanni Urshela, exactly, as you said. He's hurt. Yeah, the thing is that I think they got a long ways to go because they got to bring in bats to support the defense, the pitching, which has obviously been very, very stellar. But you can't win games 2-1 every frickin' time. So they need bats. They should have gotten J.D. Martinez when he was out there. That was a big fail on their part. But they need to, you know, there's talk about bringing JV back, because Houston is not doing so well. Well, JV is not going to come to a
run support,
a middle of the division Tigers team. He's going to come to a championship winning. They're 3 bats away. They need help.
18-13, it was a different conversation. Anson, I come to you. Question I asked Ryan Ermanni yesterday was about Scott Harris. You asked Scott Harris, and everybody's giving them patience, I believe, because you no longer have Alex Avila in there. Now there's patience. Oh, well, he's figuring out. He's getting his young guys in there. He's doing this and that. Are we giving Scott Harris too much patience because we retired Avila, and we know what Scott Harris comes from, a championship with the Cubs, and also he turned that Giants team around a couple years ago.
This is his second year?
Yeah, second year.
I mean, yeah, we're giving him some time. Yeah. I like what he's done. We've been non-competitive, not just basement.
A lot of non-moves. That's the only thing.
Sure, but it's kind of similar to what we saw a couple years ago with the Lions. There were so many holes on this roster. Guys wanted to specifically draft to fill that hole, specifically draft to fill that hole.
$60 million in the cap, by the way, in terms of that.
Yeah, and there's just too many holes. So they just went out and got the best players that they could. Lions, Tigers, Pistons, Red Wings have all been in this same deal after a decade or decade and a half of record-paced losing. So what the Tigers are doing right now is they're starting to dip into their minor league system. Some guys are working, Torque's not. but they are figuring things out, and they're able to bring in journeymen that aren't jokes anymore. I'm like, Mark Canha should not be playing to the level that he is. Gio Urshela has been on 5 different
overachieving.
Yeah, and so that's what you're seeing out of the Tigers at this point, which is what will it, if you're developing players, you're getting more out of your free agents, then free agents want to come. But you see a guy who's high profile in Harris, that extends belief to free agency, I think. When you see a guy that has had past success and you see that they are gaining. Tigers are better over these last 2 years than we have been for the last 10. So I think that it inspires confidence in people, not just in Detroit, but around the league.
Before we get out of here, look, we'll get back to the NBA. There are 2 games tonight, Jay. You have the Cavs and the Celtics. You got the Mavs and the Thunder. I got 2 thoughts on both games I want to ask you. One thought about the Celtics. Jason Tatum has just not excuse me. Jason Tatum has not been looking like the guy they told us he was entering the season, the guy that was in MVP conversation for half the season. In my estimation, 18 points he had in the first game. Obviously, Jaylen Brown had 32 points. He made up the bulk of the load, but what is it going to take for Jason Tatum to look like the guy they told me he was?
I don't really think it's like nothing the Cavs are doing. I think it's just more so I think this is really just a slump that he's going through for the past, it looked like 10 games, except for this one game he had 28.
Okay.
But yeah, other than that, it's really, I would just more so count it to a slump. Because he had
Can superstars have slumps?
When you're on a team, what was their record? 64 and 18?
Yeah, 64 and 18.
Yeah, if you're on a 64 and 18 team where y'all winning every game by 20, 25. Yeah, when you're winning every game by 20 plus, it's you kind of can go through a slump because you got dudes you got Jaylen Brown, you got Drew Holiday, you got Derek White in the playoffs is playing out of his mind right now.
Yeah, 28 the other night.
So it's when it's stuff like that happening, you kind of can, I guess, more so not try to force yourself out the slump like how you would have to if the other dudes wasn't stepping up. So I feel if maybe one game I would feel any game that he starts off good will be the game where it's looking like Jaylen, he probably going to get 35 and 10, something like that. It's just more so his start.
First game of the series between Dallas Mavericks and the OKC Thunder. I thought that Dallas would come out. Thought they would win. I thought Luka would try to start the legacy. It didn't happen that way. What does Luka need to do to get going?
I feel Luka he got hobbled early in that game, so I feel he probably playing a little injured.
So did Jalen Brunson.
Yeah, I was just about to say everybody playing injured right now. So it's just more so Luka. In my opinion, Luka gotta more so realize this is playoff basketball time, and he stop flopping and realize that some of the calls that happen in the regular season aren't gonna happen. So he's gonna have to really more so get used to playing through stuff. And Luka, it's not like he doesn't have the talent to do that.
No,
it's just more so it's gonna have to be a mindset thing with him. All right, I'm not about to get these little ticky-tack calls that I'm used to getting. Let me just hoop and play my game because I can score easily without doing this stuff. So I feel once he just changed his mind to that, he'll be straight.
All right, you guys want the lock of the night? This is how we're going to end the show. Fans, I'm going to give you the lock of the night. We've been trying this, but it hasn't seemed to work. Maz was wrong last night. I was wrong the night before that. But here's the lock of the night. The Dallas Mavericks and OKC Thunder. Who got snubbed last night in the MVP race?
Mr. SGA.
SGA is going off tonight to the tune of nothing less than 45. Ooh. And they will thrash. They will thrash Dallas because I just don't think Luka is mentally strong enough to handle what this young team is doing. And they're clicking and they're playing together. Too much ISO and no defense on the other side of Dallas Mavericks. I'm telling you, SGA is about to go off tonight.
I don't see Dallas as a playoff team. They're a great team, but the mental makeup that Luka has currently. The way that Kyrie plays and works with his teammates, this is a great team you don't want to see on the playground, but it's a team that I'm not afraid of in the second or third round of the Western Conference Finals.
There's teams
SGA, though, what you saying right there,
he's going off
I love that. Take the over, get on whatever betting app you like, and get on him on that prop bet because he's going off tonight.
100%, man. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. Appreciate you, Jay.
Yeah, it's
great. We're going to have to bring you and your knowledge, man, more often, man. It was great to talk to you. It was a great conversation. Y'all cut that stuff out right now. Silent Mike, appreciate you. Pete. Always,
love you, Bray.
Great show.
Thanks, man.
Love you too, man. We appreciate you guys for tuning in, man. This is Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. Just keep tuning in, man. We'll keep providing the show for you.